Want some, get some. Can I get a hell yeah? Yes, I am a pirate. You have to go with the pirates because, of course, they have cannons and everything. It's a pirate's life for me. Be proud of who you are and what you are. You're pirate.
It is a first down. Pirates.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. When you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
I think I've ever been in a building as loud as that was. It was deafening in there.
You live with Omaha? I can promise you that. And it's purple all night long in Eastern North Carolina.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.
My heart is purple and gold. I'm a pirate down of my soul. And I don't back down, not at all. Find out when the cannons explode.
All right, welcome into TSO Sunday night. Yes, it's a Sports Objective, and we're so happy to have you as this is our episode number 1 for our summer season. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right to it. Kyle from LaGrange Barber. Dude, how are you?
What's going on, Dave? Yeah, it's summer, as you said. No sports going on in Pirate Land. You got the Super Regionals going on, unfortunately, without the Pirates. And got a little Pirate news to talk about in terms of the portal, coaching hires, et cetera, that we'll get to as the show goes.
All right, Mr. Johnny Stats Robertson. What's up, brother? Robertson.
What's going on? Robertson, you got it right. Hey, back in Virginia, but heading back down to Greenville on Thursday, so I'm excited about that. Yeah, I'm following this player movement, and we'll talk about it. But I feel like some things are going our way, so I'm kind of enthused about that.
Yeah, we're just a few weeks away, and Alan, Vic, and I are having our 30-year friend anniversary or whatever that hell that is. And I was just going to say, Johnny,
are you guys going to play Crossing Swords?
We'll leave it to your imagination, Kyle. Whatever you want to imagine. Alan, I was just thinking that you and I have been around radio for a long, long time. We have over 60 years, maybe 70 years of broadcasting experience. We need to, back in the 80s, they had that competition or that game, Where's Waldo? We need to have a radio or actually a podcast promotion called Where's Johnny?
Yeah, I like to keep y'all guessing. Well, normally you can tell because of my internet connection, but I fixed that, so I'm good in Virginia now. So we shouldn't have that. That was miserable for a while though. So apologize for all those terrible podcasts, but yeah, I fixed that.
Right. And Alan, I wanted to let you know that Johnny's phone and I went to therapy, and everything is much better. Every time I would call Johnny, it would be like where I couldn't hear him. It would like drop out. And he's like, what the heck, Dave? What the heck? I'm just talking to people, and every time you call me, something's wrong with my phone. And so yesterday was the first time in the handful of years I've known Johnny Robertson, talking to him on the phone, that there was no issues with his phone.
Yeah. Johnny is now in crystal clear, glorious mono.
I'll take it, Alan. I'll take it.
Yeah. So how are you, AB? I heard you guys had a great race down there at Carteret.
Big crowd last night. Really nice crowd. Beautiful weather. Nice breeze. Just a good night overall. Saw a lot of friends and racing fans, and it was the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament is getting underway big time tomorrow. So there's a lot of Big Rock people down there looking something to do last night. So they came to the racetrack, and we had a good time.
I have a story I will tell you guys off the air in relation to the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament. I cannot tell it on the air. Remind me.
Okay. All right. Well, we won't ask that question. Kyle, I do want to start with you on your overall thoughts of so far, and we'll get the roundtable, not a roundtable, but discussion on the comings and goings for Pirates. We have people that are staying, and we have people going. So overall, how do you feel after 1 week?
Honestly, I haven't kept up with who's coming in. I don't know who we're going after in the portal. Just know who's left. Some of them weren't really no surprise. I hate to see Irby go. you had some guys like God, shortstop. Help me out, guys.
Nick,
Oh,
Matt Lashley.
Lashley didn't surprise me at all. So there's some other ones. It's the nature of the beast. I think some guys were asked to go, some guys left on, that
Yep.
we didn't want to see leave left, but it's just going to be how we do in the portal. And then the bigger loss, Austin Knight losing them to Tennessee. I guess if you can't beat them, hire them. So Tennessee
Yeah.
hires our pitching coach, and looks like it's going to be Jake Agnos promoted. That seems to be the worst kept secret in ECU history. So unless something major changes, Jake Agnos will be our new pitching coach.
And Johnny, I want to pitch this to you because I know you know what's going on here, but I have a feeling, guys, and I've talked to Johnny, so I'm going to pitch it to him on this, no pun intended. But I have a feeling that they knew that Austin Knight was going to leave, and I'll tell you why. Because when Austin Knight got here, if you want to finish the story, Johnny, but Austin Knight got here with our previous pitching coach,
Jason Dietrich.
and he he coached under him for at least a year. And then all of a sudden he became the pitching coach. And you look at Jake Agnos, he was here for a year under Austin Knight. And now he becomes not official, but we're pretty confident. And everybody we talk, it's been reported everywhere. So I think it's pretty much a safe bet. Jake Agnos, and knowing the history of Cliff, he's going to, that's his guy. And he graduated obviously in 2019, a big winner for him. And that comeback regional, as you guys remember, all those games in a few days.
And we're reporting that on our social media along with several other people. And that is particular post is doing. I'm always dumbfounded. I'll post, I run most of our social media, and it always dumbfounds me. I'll post something and it might get 20 reactions. Then I'll post something and it gets 200 reactions. And there seems to be sometimes no rhyme or reason to it, where that post seems to be doing really well. So thank everybody for reacting to our social media. And I would encourage it. Well, I kind of, it kind of makes it no sense, but I hope when people see that don't follow us, that see it on other people's pages, I hope they follow our page from there. But anyway, appreciate people being active on our social media.
Justin Butts is being a dad tonight, obviously, with his daughters.
Yeah, it is on his Twitter, Justin. That he has pitching coach listed as his job now at ECU, but I guess he was assistant pitching coach before that. Was that maybe that was already on his Twitter? I don't
technically he was a graduate manager, and that's just semantics. That's Kyle. There's only so many slotted positions, but he was essentially he was the assistant pitching coach. Worked a lot with the pitchers, and I feel confident that he'll get the job done for us. Hey, it was a big week. I'm in Haymarket right now. It was a big week for people in Haymarket getting promotions. Jake looks like he's going to be our pitching coach. Carter Cunningham, he was promoted from high A ball for the Blue Jays to Double A. He went from the Vancouver Canadians to the New Hampshire Fisher Cats, and he's played 2 games so far, and 2 for 6 with a double, run, a walk. So starting off pretty well. So congratulations to Carter. Congratulations to Jake. And Zach Agnos got called back up to the Rockies. So
nice.
So there you go. The Haymarket trifecta.
There you go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when you're looking at if you're wanting to come to a program, you look at, how many guys do they have in major leagues? It's not like one, right? We've got several, and we've got more that are going to be going. And we got guys, like you said, in the farm system moving their way up, like Carter Cunningham. So very awesome to see. And Johnny, we talk about, I know Kyle mentioned Irby, and I'm glad. Thank you, Kyle, for mentioning Irby. I was told, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I was told Irby was to take less money this year, and because he wouldn't take less money this year, he is in the portal. So basically that's the reason why he's not back. And I was already told by one of our friends, I don't know if he minds me saying, but I won't say his name, but y'all all know him, that Irby had already known that was probably going to happen because he didn't have the year that we all thought he would have.
Yeah. I feel like when Cliff repeatedly addressed revenue sharing in college sports, he kept saying, I'm not against it, but these people are getting paid a lot of money, and you got to produce. I feel like he was speaking about Irby without speaking about Irby directly. And I think, everyone kind of figured that out. And now they're talking about maybe he had a hand injury, which to me is just crazy that we're going to find out about that after the season. The hammock bone in his hand, that's kind of the same thing that Jack Herring had. And there's no way that Jack Herring could yeah, so I don't even know. I think maybe.
Yeah, I'll tell you, like a good friend of ours said, and I won't say his name either. He can say it himself on his own show. But he he said, is Irby saying that now to improve his portal stock? How bad was that hand injury? Because Cliff would have obviously known it, taken it into account. So I don't know about that. I don't know if I believe that. I have heard nothing about that during the regular season. Obviously, had he had a hand injury like that, I would have hoped to God Cliff would take that into account on his performance this year, not living up to the expectations of what he was being paid. If that's the case and it was known, then I don't understand how we didn't take that into account. I don't know. To me, it's one of them things. Did he have a hand injury? Probably is my guess, but my guess is probably not that bad. So
because he still had plenty of power.
Yeah.
I mean, his balls weren't leaving the yard, but I mean, when he did get a hold of one, he sent a long way. So, and he was just crushing balls in the conference tournament, but wasn't getting the results. But I feel like it had to be a minor injury, Kyle, if he did have a hand injury at all.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. I think what is probably the case is it's probably not a lie. I think there probably was a hand injury, but I think it's being mentioned now and pointed out to improve his portal stock, saying, hey, when I'm back to 100%, I'll put up the numbers that were expected. I am worth this money. It'll be interesting to see. Somebody's going to get him. He's a good enough player that somebody's going to probably give him the money he was making here, and it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah.
I was going to mention. I was going to ask you if you could. We know that Irby is out.
Yeah, I can give you a quick rundown
Yeah.
of the portal. First of all, there's 4,728 kids in the portal as of right now.
It's just as bad as football now.
Yeah, it is. It's open till the 30th. There's still teams playing, and there's probably kids making decisions right now on whether they're going to go in there or not. But okay, so we talked about Austin Irby. By the way, he's rated as the number 18 first baseman in the portal right now. And Michael Kalinic is rated as the number 18 catcher in the portal right now. Now, he wants to go catch somewhere. He only started 7 games out of 63, and we needed more than that from him. We really did. We needed to give Walker Barron more of a break than having him catch 56 games. And we just couldn't do it because Blake Carver was just not an option whatsoever. And Kalinic defensively was a liability. And Cliff elected, and Walker toughed it out. And, Walker did it last year too. So, that's the situation with Mike Kalinic.
Yeah, he actually, guys, you remember, we were excited for the fact that he played for the Greenville Yard Gnomes last year.
Yeah.
And that was all our friends that are Pirates that that live locally, and they went to those games. They kept Johnny, you remember that they kept talking about how many passed balls last year, and so you kind of go, well, it's good training for him, but the problem is it continued to happen into the season, and so I know his dad was mad because he wanted him to start and be the catcher, but if there's a reason, and Alan, as you know, there's a reason why Cliff is starting Walker Barron. It's not because Walker Barron is local politics. It's not because Kalinic is a jerk or his dad is a jerk or anything. It comes down to his bat is awesome and he's average to be a catcher. I'm just being straight up for Division I baseball.
Yeah, defensive up. We talked about it. He was a liability.
Below average.
And, the bat was there, but you look at defensively, I mean, that's as you know, an important position. And he did not live up to snuff. defensively, and it cost him. And I hope he continues wherever he goes. Hopefully he'll improve, and that bat is going to get some attention. So somebody's going to pay him a good chunk of change because he can hit the baseball. But Walker Barron, didn't get any relief all year because Kalinic, like you said, just was not an option.
Well, the interesting thing with Kalinic is he going to follow the money and go to a bigger program and take the chance on, again, not being the everyday catcher or even being a 50-50 catcher. Because if he goes to a ACC program, and he may get those opportunities because of his bat, but unless he improves dramatically behind the plate, he's not going to be an everyday catcher anywhere except maybe the SoCon or the Big South or somewhere like that. So he's got a decision to make. He's going to end up, what he's going to probably do is follow the money, and because of his bat, and he's going to go somewhere else and be the same situation he was here, being used as a pitch hitter, being used in DH roles, and being used every once in a while behind the plate.
That's correct. And I was going to say, guys, if there's anybody that knows the catcher position, it's Cliff Godwin, because he was the catcher. So, you're not going to fool a guy that's his natural position. He's the head coach. He's got, assistant coach experience and head coaching experience. And so, as much as we love Kalinic, we love ECU more, and we have to trust that the coaching staff, which they are doing a great job. Walker Barron did a phenomenal job, and if Kalinic was like at that level, then it would be more like Kyle said, a 50-50 kind of thing, or at least maybe 75% Barron.
Oh, if he was as good defensively as Walker was with his bat, he would have been somebody we definitely wanted to hang on to, and would probably be making if he was entering the portal, it would be to get a big paycheck.
Yeah, and if he had stayed here, I think he could have developed. He could have continued to improve and whatever, but he chose to go a different route. So
maybe though, Alan, it could be. Here's the thing. I mean, I don't want to bring up the Tar Heels, but UNC and VCU, for that matter, in that same tournament, they have catcher A and catcher B. And one of them DHs and one of them catches, and they switch back and forth. With VCU, they don't ever have a catcher catch more than 2 games in a row, and he'll DH. They both play, every game, but it's like, and it's important to give your catcher a rest. Not to mention that he's not a big guy. I mean, Walker Barron is, for a catcher, he's one of the smaller catchers you're going to find around.
Could actually be better, JR. On his knees and legs, being a smaller guy, that actually could give him more durability. I know you immediately think opposites, bigger guy, could take more wear and tear.
I'm talking about as far as how many, like at the plate, blocking the plate. Making
you really don't block the plate anymore. You're not supposed to.
You're not allowed to. But how many times, I'm going to look this stat up. How many times did plays at the plate go against us? Either when we're on offense or defense, it didn't matter. It seemed like every play at the plate that went to review went against us. So
there were quite a few.
Yeah, it was. So anyhow, do you want to move on with the portal, Dave, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, keep going on the list, sir.
Yeah, keep on going. I was on mute. Sorry.
All right. So then we have one that's kind of a puzzler from last season's portal was Carlos Jacome. He batted .309 with 4 home runs at USF and was pretty much an everyday starter at second base, played a little shortstop. He came here, and I just don't know. I don't know what happened. His last at bat was April 7th. His last hit was March 27th. After the UAB game, he was batting .273. He finished 2 for 21 with a batting average of .215. Yeah, but here's the thing. Supposedly it was a hand injury. He played after that. He played after that. But even before he was injured, he was never part of the solution at shortstop. He was never even considered, even though he had played shortstop at USF. And he never struck out. That guy maybe had 5 strikeouts all year. And he was a fairly good defender, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And he's, back in the portal, and he's got 1 year left. Hopefully he'll find somewhere where he can get some playing time.
A lot of people were very high on him in the preseason.
Yeah, with good reason.
he was talked about some at media day, and it just, like you say, it just never
No,
got going for him for whatever reason.
no, it did not. And then we have Matt Lashley, the shortstop, is in the transfer portal, and he's ranked as the 58th shortstop in the portal. Initially his bat was much better than we thought it would be, but that fizzled. And then that hamstring that he didn't start the season because of a hamstring injury. I don't know if that just plagued him all season, but he did come in as a pinch hitter, and him and Nick both started 30 games at shortstop. And of course Colby started the first three. But it seemed like Cliff went with Nick at the end of the season. That was his shortstop of choice.
Yeah, I like Lashley. I think it was probably he didn't fit in with Cliff's culture. I like Lashley as a player. I think he'll do well wherever he goes. Sometimes it's just not a fit, and I think with Cliff, it's probably more important that you fit in culturally than it is a lot of other places.
Yeah, you're right about that, Colin. Sure. Then Jackson DiLorenzo is another one. His best season was his freshman year. And it's funny because he was here 3 seasons, and each season he pitched less and less and less. He started this season against Xavier with that 4-pitch walk, and that kind of was a signal of things to come. But then he had a stretch against William and Mary and UTSA where he pitched 4 innings, allowed 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, no runs. But then when, he went back on the field, he went back to, putting a lot of people on base. He only ended up pitching 9 1/3 innings this season. And I think it may have been lack of confidence. I don't know. Something drastically changed from his freshman season to his junior season. So I'm not sure what's going on with Jackson, but somebody will pick him up for sure. And, maybe a lower level would be the place for him to revive his career.
Yeah. And JR, do you have the list in front of you of guys who announced they are definitely returning?
In my head, I do. I guess really the only ones that we're waiting on would be, help me out, Dave. You have the list, don't you?
Dave's away from his computer currently.
I was going to count on him to carry that part.
If Dave has that list, we will come back and revisit this.
Running players, I've got them here listed. If you
the guys who said they're coming back, Alan.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Burris, Linehan, Trammell, Wallace, Pelletier, Bachman, Vogley, and Parham, the position players. Pitchers are Powers, Antolik, Jenkins, Rose, and Paxton. And I think that's it. So
that's a good core right there to work with.
Really good
to build around.
Yeah, that's a really good core.
I feel like somebody's is missing off that list. Colby Weber, he's coming back.
Yeah, well, this may have been done before he did, and didn't he just?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was just recently.
He recently had a surgery, so hopefully he'll be ready. If not the beginning of the season, early in the season. And I was glad to see him coming back. The ones that weren't mentioned.
Go ahead.
It was, Luke Payne, who's draft eligible. I mean, I don't know if he'll have any draft interest. Davin Whitaker is draft eligible. I don't know if he's waiting on, seeing what's happening, but, talk to some more people before he makes his decision. But he doesn't, you don't have to declare for the draft. You can just, be drafted. And then, hey, I got drafted. I'm going to go play in the Major League Baseball. But I suspect Davin's coming back. I mean, I haven't heard anything to the contrary, but we kind of need him. He's an important piece. And when I see his name announced as running it back, I'll feel a little bit better about our situation.
Yeah. But we've got a solid core coming back. I mean, that's a pretty darn good lineup. If you look at especially the position players, and like you said, Whitaker would be a big piece to come back, and hopefully he'll make that decision. But
and Sean Jenkins, he's coming back, but we're not going to see him next season at all. And I give him a credit for running for even putting that out there,
Yep.
and he's going to be unavailable for the entire season. So he was a young freshman when he came here, so he'll still be. Let's see, he'll still be in his very early 20s in 2028, and that's the next time he's going to be able to pitch for us.
Yeah,
But
right,
hey, I was happy to see him put his name in there anyhow.
right now we don't know. Walker Barron is up in the air at this point.
That's true.
And people like Charlie Hoagland on the mound, and you mentioned Payne and Weber. So we got some positions that we need to fill some holes for sure as well.
Yeah.
What
Page,
names are we hearing? What names are we hearing in the portal that may be heading our way?
Here's the thing, Kyle. There's very little, if any, portal activity, and all the early signings are SEC, ACC schools.
Okay.
For instance, okay, I'm looking right now at the top 50 players: LSU, Mississippi State, Florida, Texas, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, and Miami. Those are the only teams that have signed somebody. Now, here's the thing: North Carolina, they've already signed 4 kids, 2 shortstops, a catcher, and a pitcher. And North Carolina is extremely good in the portal. I mean, if you look at the team that they had that we played against this season, out of their starters, 7 of them came out of the portal. So, I mean, Eric Paulson, Macon Winslow, Owen Hall. I mean, they're all North Dakota. Let me just tell you where they came from: George Mason, North Dakota State, Duke, Stony Brook, Iowa Central, Georgia State,
Wow.
Florida Darlington. So they're good at finding, kids at a lower level and getting them to be, ACC starters, and not just ACC starters, but they're going to be in the College World Series.
Yeah.
you look at Macon Winslow. He's from Performance High School north of me in Hertford. He's a Duke guy. Chris Pollard leaves. He goes to Carolina. That's just the strangest thing to have a Duke kid to go to North Carolina, or vice versa. If you ever have that, North Carolina to Duke. But that tells you how strange things are in the world we're living in when it comes to college sports now.
Yeah, and like Josh said, we have some become high school recruits coming in, but I would imagine it'll be a lot like college football. You'll see we'll be that next rung, and we'll start seeing some signees, some guys commit to us out of the portal probably the next week.
Yeah, we need a shortstop is what we need. We need a shortstop and a catcher that can DH. And I do have a couple targets, but I won't even. Well, I'll throw one of them out there. The catcher. So Wichita State had a catcher that started out at Texas A&M, went to South Carolina, then went to Wichita State. So last season, he had 11 home runs in his first 50 at bats. That's completely insane, and that's on pace to break records. But he had a shoulder injury and had to have season-ending surgery. Now he's in the portal. See, we don't need an everyday catcher. We just need a catcher that can be serviceable behind the plate, and we know that he can do that, and we know he's got a big bat. So, I mean, I don't know if maybe they're looking at him. I hope so. His name is Max Coffer.
By the way, we may need one if we don't know the status of Walker Barron, and not trying to cause any rumors or anything, but I'm when it comes to baseball, I'm like Kyle now. I'm like, we need to make sure, let's take care of East Carolina, because we can't wait around, right, Kyle?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly what you mean by that. What do you mean by that?
I'm talking about with football. You know how many times we talked about, in other words, what I'm saying is the coaching staff, oh, we're great. We're in great shape. And we're like, no, you need a couple more quarterbacks.
Well, what's the situation with Walker? Is he injured?
Walker
We just don't
Barron?
know.
No.
We don't know what he's going to do yet.
Yes, correct.
So what do you?
Yeah. Well, you first of all, you take care of him financially. He earned it the way he's been behind the plate. Is it a draft eligible situation for him?
Yeah.
Because
Okay, so
probably
yeah.
more.
Well, and also here's the thing: if Walker ain't coming back, that's going to open up things. You're going to have more catchers that's going to be interested in coming here,
Right.
because they're going to know they're going to have a chance to start. So, but yeah, you definitely need to go out and get. We need a catcher anyway, and then we'll know if we need a couple soon enough.
We do have a really good freshman coming in, don't we, Johnny?
Jack Woda.
That Chuck is talking about. That's really good.
Jack Woda. Yeah, I was going to talk about high school real quick. I mean, because people overlook that. They feel like, oh, we got to go in the portal, do this, do that. But this team has always been built on high school kids. Like, I'm just going to give you a quick list. 2022, we had Ryan McChrystal. We had JJC, Trega Savage, Wyatt Lunsford Shankman, Luke Nowak, and Jake Hunter. 23, we had Dixon Williams and Zach Root. 24, Bristol Carter, Ethan Norby, Walker Barron, Colby Wallace, Davin Whitaker, D'Lo. Now, Davin did not contribute as a freshman. We redshirted him. And then 25, we had AI. We had Braden Burris. We had Braxton Trammell. We had Mike Kalinich. We had Alex Peltier, who started 43 games. And we had Bradley Zayak. We had Lance Williams. Those were all freshmen that were heavy contributors, even, in Conway and in the conference tournament. And then last season, we had Grady Linehan, Braden Bachman, Ethan Rose, Colby Weber, Charlie Hoagland. So, I mean, freshmen are going to contribute. Now, which ones they're going to be, I mean, we'll have to figure that out. But we do have a kid from South Johnston, a left-handed third baseman, left-handed hitter, Kellen Smith, who committed to NC. Well, he didn't. I guess he did commit to NC State. They signed him, and then he changed his mind. He's coming here. We have a shortstop from Terry Sanford coming in, Josh Mozingo, and that dude has broken like so many high school records. The two that come to mind is 176 hits and 156 runs he had. That's crazy and probably won't be broken for a long time. We have Sawyer Wickham, who's coming from a junior college, and he's an elite right-handed pitcher. And then as far as other freshmen, I mean, we have a ton of right-handed pitchers. We have 4 of them. 2 from Virginia, 1 from Nevada, and 1 from it's North Carolina. I couldn't read my own writing. I apologize, but they're all throwing 91 to 93. Hitting 94 to 95. The kid from Everett Community College in Washington is hitting 95 regularly. So I mean, we got some talent coming in. I mean, they're all right-handed pitchers. We don't have any lefties that I can see here, but so high school, it's going to be a big contributing factor to the success of this team.
One of the biggest things I see for me is we got to get some power.
Yes,
sir.
We just do not have enough power.
Braxton Trammell is back.
It hurt us badly at times last year.
Yeah.
And so did stolen bases. We didn't steal any. We didn't steal any bases, and that's
power
how you
and speed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's how you. If you're going to play small ball, you better be able to steal some bases. We just didn't do it. AP will help with that. He was 9 of 11 in stolen bases. Braden, Grady Linehan. I don't know if he'll be leadoff or if Braden will, but either one, those two both are dangerous on the base path. So we need to steal some more bases. You're right, Alan. We need more power. I think Braxton Trammell will help with that. And this kid from South Johnston, Kellen Smith, is got some power too. I saw that we lost one of our freshmen has entered the portal, Luke Craddock, and he's got a big bat, and he's already hit a home run in one of his first few at bats in the Wooden Bat League in the Shenandoah Valley. I was looking forward to him because he could also play first base. But we'll be fine. We will be fine.
No, Chuck Celia asks, is Sean Jenkins out? He should be back. In fact, I know that with his injury was more season injury, but I think what they did, I think they were smart because what they did is they knew that he was not himself, let's say, and so it was best for him to go ahead and pull him for the year and go ahead and get surgery. So
will he be back in 27 or will it be 28?
No, He's not coming back next year. If he does, I would be extremely shocked. And Stephen Igo even said, "Don't look for him in 27."
Okay.
And I believe Stephen Igo over almost anybody.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
And Justin says, don't forget for the kid from ACOG. I know that Justin's really high on him being.
Yeah, it's hard to find information on high school recruits. Justin, do you know what his name is or what position he plays or anything like that? If you do, let us know.
Yeah, you're right, JR. It's very hard to find information on high school baseball or really high school anything.
Yeah, everything's behind a paywall.
Well, through 24/7 Sports, they do cover high school recruitment as much as football and baseball. I have a paid membership over IGO, so I don't hoist the colors. So I'll go check. Not right now, but I'll check and get some information on the kid from ACOG if Justin can't provide it.
Okay.
Yeah. So how about Johnny? Is that everybody for high school, or how many recruits did we sign this year?
Same as Jamison Steele. He's a first baseman and a pitcher, according to Justin. There, put it up on the screen, Dave.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Great baseball name, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt.
It is a great baseball name.
Is he related to Mike Steele?
Maybe he's related
Coach
to
Mike
former.
Steele?
Maybe he's related to former WCW enhancement talent Jungle Jim Steele.
Yep.
Yep.
How about Mike the
Towards the Animal Steele?
What the Steele lady from the Bengals? What's her name? Michael Steele? Steele from the Bengals?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Hey, but the incoming freshman pitchers that we have, they're pretty big fellas. Jason Krusek, 6'5". Then you got Jack Goddard, who is 6'4". Carter Purdue, 6'4", and Jason Sproul. I'm not sure. I think he's a little bit on the smaller side, but we got some big guys coming in here. So,
who's our first baseman going to be, Johnny? Do you know?
I think it's probably somebody already on the team. My guess. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Braxton Trammell or Davin played a little bit of first base.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you need someone that can stretch and get some length out there, and we have a lot of outfielders, so we're going to have the ability, to cover the outfield without using Braxton Trammell. I don't think it would be Davin, but it could be. I don't know.
That's the one thing Irby was really good at, was stretching.
It was
John White would fight you on that one, Alan. That's what made him upset about Austin Irby is he just
said something about Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, I don't know what Matt's talking about there. Matt, what the hell are you talking?
We were talking about WWE. About you said and I said
Jungle Jim Steele. He said no, it was Sergeant Slaughter.
And I said George the Animal Steele.
I don't know. What does Sergeant Slaughter have to do with any of that?
He was just doing a WWE.
Yeah, I don't, Matt. You try harder, Matt. Come on, you got to make your jokes make sense.
Chuck said, we talked about that earlier. The Irby situation, I heard, Chuck, by the way, is that he was told take less money, a reduction in salary, if you will. And so what happened is he didn't want to take a reduction. That was the only way he was going to be able to stay. So he's in the portal.
Well,
yeah, not many kids do elect to take less money, even though it could be the smarter move, in all honesty.
Less production, less money. It doesn't matter who you are. I mean, he was getting paid a good chunk of change.
And unless the hand injury is more legitimate, if it's, I just have trouble believing the hand injury was that bad and it wasn't acknowledged or taken into account.
I agree.
Didn't hear a thing about it all year.
No.
I thought a good negotiating strategy with Austin Irby would have been if he didn't want to take less money to say, hey, okay, so we're going to pay you next year. Hopefully you have a great season, but we're going to pay you next season for what you did last season. And then all that money you got last season, you'll be well compensated for the results you're going to give us next season. And it would have worked out fine, but kids don't think that way. They don't think that way.
This is now just like any other job. If you don't produce, you don't get. It's like a sales job now.
You remember Kyle? Do you remember when you said
Hey,
What
And
you
when you want to be treated like employees, don't be upset when you get treated like employees.
right.
Right.
But you
I
still-
will miss Austin Irby at first base though, because he was a heck of a defender. He was just a really, really in foul balls, he would chase him down.
Yeah.
I mean, him at first and Colby at third, you better get that ball out of the park, or both of them are gonna track it down and catch it. So I'm gonna miss that.
Baseman, you talk about flexibility and being able to stretch and grab a ball. I mean, that was to me that was his strong suit this year for sure.
Irby's a good player. I don't know what he was getting paid, but apparently not worth what he was getting paid if the rumors are true. Hey, speaking of rumors, guys, do we want to talk about a rumor? There's rumors out there that our hitting coach they may decide to mutually part ways. Came over here from Ole Miss last year. I'm horrible with names. What's his name?
Gautreaux?
Jake Gautreaux.
Yeah, Gautreaux. So as of right now, he's still our hitting coach, but there's rumors out there may be a mutual parting of the ways. We'll see. Time will tell if that's true or not.
Yeah.
But
Well, the more time that goes by, it makes you wonder why he just doesn't do it now.
Yeah.
If
And it could be a situation where if there is, the right situation hasn't came along for him yet. I don't know. But, you're right, JR. The longer it doesn't happen, the more it seems like maybe it's a bad rumor.
Yeah, I would say if it doesn't happen in the next week or so, it was just a rumor because I mean it's been rumor now since we lost last Sunday. That was one of the first things.
Yeah.
Was that he may be leaving, but hadn't seen anything.
No.
So yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of,
We got Bryant Packard.
Yeah.
He's ready. He's ready to help with the hitting if we lose Jake.
Yeah.
But, it is a difference of philosophy between him and Coach
Godwin.
Thank you, Kyle. Coach Godwin. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, it sounds like Gautreaux it likes to be more free swinging at the plate, give the guys more a chance to
chase fastballs.
Chase fastballs, try to hit more home runs. But at the same time, that works better maybe at the SEC when you got talent across the board. Cliff likes to be more strategic with his hitting, situational hitting, etc. So, we'll see. We'll see if there's a change or if there's not.
Plus, I think there's a contract issue, if I'm not mistaken, because I feel like he didn't command a lot of money for salary this season because he was getting paid, from Mississippi.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
So that ends. So he's gonna. I would assume he would want more money. I don't know.
He did take a reduction in pay. That is, Johnny. I do know that he took a reduction in pay to come here. So what he was making there, but I don't know, like the time period of the contract there and when that ends and all that stuff. But I do know that he did take a
reduction
or cut. Yeah.
Regular diagnosis pitching coach can say the recruits.
And Jake is one of.
Dave, you cut out.
I think you froze.
Yeah, but Agnos' pitching coach. He's a Pirate. He's a Cliff Godwin guy. I think that should work out. Hopefully, we've done a good job kind of promoting pitching coach to pitching coach. Guys have left for different jobs. You had what's his name leave to take the head coaching job at Cal State Fullerton. Then you had
Jason Dietrich.
Yeah, but then you had the next guy leave to take the pitching coach job at Kentucky. Now Austin Knight goes to Tennessee. So that's a good problem to have. If we can keep that going, that means we're winning.
Yeah,
Yep.
Dan actually left first before, and then we got Dietrich, and then
Roselle, and then Dietrich.
yeah.
Yeah, Dietrich only stayed 1 year? Is that
2
right?
years, I
2
think.
years.
In fact, 22. Johnny and I were talking about this. This is how crazy how long that Knight has been here. Knight started with us in 22 as the pitching coach. So that's what's crazy.
He was hired in like in July of 21 at the conclusion of that season. And then,
Wow, I did not realize Austin had been here that long.
Yeah.
and look at his resume. I mean, with Trey Savage, Even like Carter Spivey, he won. I think he was the first relief pitcher ever to win Conference Pitcher of the Year.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't even name all that. Wyatt Lunsford Shankman, he did a great job with him. I'm forgetting. Oh, the Big Rig, Gavin Williams.
Yeah, he did a lot. I mean, they've been. That's the great thing about it is you're looking at Gavin Williams and Trey Savage and also
Carson Whisenhunt.
Whisenhunt with the Dodgers organization. So hey, I'm telling you guys, I feel really confident for next season. I really do for baseball. I think looking
It's
back,
crazy, Dave. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had a thought on Austin. When it was announced he was leaving for Tennessee, I saw some people say stuff like "good riddance" and stuff like that. It just amazes me when you just sit here and you realize he's been here since 22, and the success we've had during that time period, and the pitchers that are pitching in the major leagues that he's produced, and then people say things like "good riddance." It's just it boggles my mind.
Yeah, me too. I read some of that. The guy's got one of the best coaching resumes in the country. He's, like you say, he's been nothing but loyal. He's a great dude, by the way. Just a humble guy, got a great family. And, we've all been in situations where we had a job and somebody, came along and offered us a little more money. Sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, Alan, if you're, especially if you're in radio, they'll say, hey, we're going to give you, Alan Vick, we're going to give you a brand new set of tires, oil changes for life, and we're going to throw a couple T-shirts.
Coupons, anything.
Well, most of the time, guys have I think most guys, not all, but I think most guys have the goal of being a head coach. And Austin knows, he's going to become a head coach a lot faster going to Tennessee. Even, it's more money, but also I'm sure if he has that goal, it's going to be easier to achieve from Tennessee than it is from East Carolina, although it has happened here, So, but that's I think probably it's another reason besides just the money. Guys move on, and you can only be somewhere so long, do the same thing so long. He's been here since 22. It's been a while.
Yeah.
So I have nothing. Most of the time when a guy leaves ECU, I'm like, screw him. Who cares? I don't care what you do. But with Austin's situation, you're leaving for Tennessee. He's been very loyal. I wish him nothing but the best.
Yep.
Chuck is asking about our good friend Stephen Igo from Hoist the Colors. He says there's a VIP article on 24/7 Sports on Jeff Palumbo. There's a rumor he's going to to Coastal.
Yeah. First of all, unless something has changed,
they have a coach.
Coastal's coach has not left to take the South Carolina job.
No.
And I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I could be wrong on this. And some people may get mad at me for saying this, but I'm just going to look at it from Coastal Carolina's point of view. You talk about a program that went to the College World Series 2 years ago, or 1 year ago. You talk about a program that's been to the College World Series twice. They have their own coaching tree, their own legacy. If they don't hire somebody from that tree, I would think they're going to hire somebody, a Power 4 assistant, or somebody who is a head coach at a lower level school. I don't see them going after Palumbo. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It's always possible, but I agree with you, Kyle. And knowing the loyalty that
if it was Wilmington, I would say yes, but not Coastal.
He actually, Palumbo, his family loves Greenville, and I know we talk about money and other jobs, but he didn't take the George Mason job a few years ago when that job was open, his alma mater, and I really thought that was a shot we might lose him. And he said that and Alan, we've been at media days for years, and whenever he's asked about that question, he's very loyal to Cliff Godwin. They love Greenville. And here's the thing, why I love Palumbo is he's smart enough to know that he's got it made here in Greenville because he's a recruiting coordinator. He's bringing in new guys, and we're going to Omaha. And how would you like to be on the coaching staff and finally knock down that door? And I think there's a lot of guys that feel like that they want to get that done, including Cliff.
If Palumbo's offered the Coastal job, he would take it, but I don't think that's going to happen. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think, I think in his mind and Cliff's mind, I think Cliff, thinks one of these days we're going to go to Omaha, and maybe he'll get his opportunity to go to LSU or Mississippi State or somewhere like that. After we go to Omaha, then Palumbo will become the head coach here.
Yeah.
I don't know, but in terms of that rumor, I'll say this: if he were offered the Coastal job, I don't see how in the world he wouldn't take it. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I
Here's
think
another. Bubba pointed this out. Chris Lemonis won a national championship at Mississippi State not too long ago, and he grew up in Myrtle Beach. Went to high school there. Loves it there. I believe his wife's from there as well. So why would he not be on their list?
Where's he at now?
He's not. He's
Oh,
not.
he's currently not coaching. Yeah. They if they lose their coach, they'll get I think they'll probably again look for somebody from that tree. I cannot think of their head coach who has been battling cancer for years now, who retired. But
Gilmore.
They'll look for somebody from that Gilmore tree, like they have now, that played for Gilmore, or they'll hire maybe the Troy. Well, I don't know if they can hire from within the Sun Belt. Maybe, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe Arkansas Little Rock's head coach or a Power 4 assistant.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 50-50 that the Coastal coach takes that South Carolina. I think they're meeting tomorrow, as a matter of fact. So they've met. They're going to be meeting multiple times. So there's some interest there.
I mean, other than the money, you've got it made at Coastal. I mean, the money I can understand, but for me, when he's already got it made at Coastal, and you're already, like we talked about last year in the College World Series, and they have tradition there in baseball, you're in right at Myrtle Beach. I mean, it's easy. I think it will be easier to recruit. And you have to, and here's the other thing. My point with Palumbo that I'll make as well for Coastal is, wouldn't you rather be like the cliche, a big fish in a small pond? I mean, when you go to the SEC, you're a small pond. You're in a big small fish in a big pond. I can talk.
Easy for you to say, Dave.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to money. The one thing I'll say, Coastal. First of all, Sun Belt's a great league. Coastal went to the College World Series last year. Troy was going to the College World Series this year. I wish we could play baseball in the Sun Belt, and nothing else. But it's going to be more money in South Carolina. Now, Coastal does pay well. Baseball is very important to their fan base, but they're not going to be able to match South Carolina's money. The other argument, I would say, he's already took them to the national championship finals. That's, unless you're going to win the national championship again at Coastal, he's not going to do any better there. So that may be something he also has in mind. He has set a standard in year one that he's going to be chasing himself the rest of the time he's there. So that could be another reason to go ahead and get out. I don't know. I could see it going either way. I think it's going to come down. I think it's going to simply come down to money. I think if South Carolina offers him enough, he's gone. He played at Coastal. So it's going to be an interesting situation to watch. Will they hang on to him, or will he end up in South Carolina?
Yeah, is the situation there with him? Last year they were the darlings. They went to Omaha. This year things kind of tailed off. I wonder if the honeymoon is.
They were still a 2 seed. They were still a 2 seed. I mean,
Yeah,
they
don't want to lose him.
No. But I will say, unless he's going to win the national championship there like Gilmore did, he's not going to do any better than he did in year one. So,
yeah. Alan, you bring up an interesting point, though. I was having this conversation a little earlier today that I feel like Austin Knight going to Tennessee is a bit of a gamble because, I mean, Josh Elander's first year, replacing a guy that won a national championship, has won and hosted many super regionals, to be 2 and out in the regional, they're not used to that. And now, Austin Knight goes there. I guarantee you that Josh Elander will not be there in 3 years if Tennessee doesn't improve like dramatically as far as conference play, hosting regional, super regional, that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel like he has a short window. Those fans, they just want to win. And I feel like with Austin going there, it's not to say that if they hired a new coach, they wouldn't retain Austin Knight, but there is a little bit of a risk there for him going there.
I do kind of feel like what happened this year with Tennessee is a bit of an anomaly. I do think they're gonna come back next year and beat Tennessee again. I really believe that.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah,
the way
me
it happened.
too.
It was, but I just, I think I think that was a 1-year deal, and I think they're going to be back strong next year.
They're hitting the portal hard. Like them in North Carolina are signing the most people so far in the early stages. So yeah, they know they have work to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have we covered everybody portal wise and high school recruit wise?
Yeah, I'll just give a couple real quick portal notes that I find interesting. I've discovered these. So Mercer, very controversial deletion from the the college playoff, and they've got 5 players in the top 63 in the portal. Their team next year is going to be just devastated. So they're losing 5 players in the top 63. 3 of them are in the top 19. That is way more than any other school in the portal by
Hey,
far.
how about Mercer Athletics? Their AD's doing a hell of a job. Their football program was red hot this year, and they lost their head coach to some MAC school, and their OC, their quarterback ended up. Yeah, how about that? Their quarterback, who we looked at, ended up at UNC, and he's already failed out. By the way, he's academically ineligible, but he put up huge numbers at Mercer, and now their baseball program is doing what they're doing. So their AD's doing a hell of a job.
God, it's hard to flunk out of college these days.
Yeah, he did though, and I heard that's why he was so late in the portal, and kind of why we gave up on him was because he might be a middle midget. I don't know if you guys remember that. And Carolina signed him very late, and he's already flunked out. He's academically ineligible.
Wow. Well, I haven't heard
what,
that in college the last 3 or 4 years at all, really.
Yeah, I know. He must literally not be able to read.
No, not doing a lot of the time these kids, with the support they have, as Alan, we've talked about before, about we don't know how the kids do it, but
wait a minute, am I getting him confused with the quarterback from Western Carolina? Did I just say Mercer? Which quarterback was it that put up the big numbers that we looked at? Was it the Mercer quarterback or the Western Carolina? It was Mercer.
Western Carolina.
Was it what? Okay, it may be the Western. Yeah, forgive me then. I know Mercer was good this past year too at the FCS level, but I think it's the Western Carolina quarterback that I was misconstruing with the Mercer quarterback.
All right.
And then one more interesting note. So 2 brothers were picked up by Akron. They went from Akron. They're both on the Akron team, and they're both very, very, very highly rated. And they both went to Ball State. And then I looked up their stats and looked at their game notes and noticed that they both hit a home run when Akron played Ball State. So Akron plays Ball State. Both of these brothers hit a home run against Ball State, and then Ball State goes in the portal and takes them both. I just thought that was kind of interesting. You don't see that every day.
Ball State spending money on baseball all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Apparently.
Because these are high recruits, 255 and 260 out of 4,700 and whatever.
Yeah, well, good for Ball State. Who knew they gave a damn about baseball?
I went there.
Ball State.
I went there to the campus for one high school theater. They had their International Thespian Society, their festival there, and yeah, I knew there was going to be a joke about that. But Ball State is in Muncie, Indiana.
Yeah.
They have 2 famous people one went to Ball State and the other is from there.
David Letterman.
Yep.
Correct.
And you know the other one?
John Cougar Mellencamp.
No, he's from Bloomington, Indiana.
Yeah, I know.
That would be Jim Davis. If you love Garfield, he's from Muncie, Indiana. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Now, here's your Muncie facts for the week.
That's right.
Next week, we're covering Gary.
Gary, Indiana.
I was the king of useless trivia.
Well, there you go. If you want to win a bar bet, there you go.
Jim Davis,
no, we're not going to get off on music, and we're not going to get off on pop culture.
About his Jock Ewing from Dallas.
What's that?
Jim Davis.
That's right, Jim Davis.
Kyle, and you can add Middle Tennessee to your list of people that are spending early because they signed the middle infield from Merrimack, their second baseman and the shortstop are both going to Middle Tennessee from
Okay.
Merrimack, and they're both ranked in the top 300. So they're high profile, recruits. So these teams are spending money,
Middle Tennessee needs to spend some money on football. God almighty.
no doubt.
They lost to Austin P last year, but well, good for Middle. They need to do something. I think they screwed up when them and Western made the mistake to stay in Conference USAS rather than go to the MAC.
Yes,
But
I agree.
whatever.
Here's one from Chuck. Get your way too early predictions. He says predictions for next year. I think we win 40 games and we're
I have no clue. We got to see high school recruiting.
I
and
like
the rest of this
Chuck's,
portal play out.
Yeah, I'm not willing to go out there.
Let's say we're hosting a regional. I mean, if we're gonna like to.
There's no way to predict at this point.
Yeah. Get back to me. Get back to me in a couple months.
After the portal kind of calms down and we get what we got, and then we'll go from there.
We'll talk about it. But yeah, by the way, don't forget those wondering about the third base expansion. It'll be done by February of next year. So by baseball season, if you're wondering, we have people.
What happened, Dave? It was supposed to be done by Thanksgiving. That's getting way too close to the start of the season.
Well, that's what we were initially told, but then a month or so ago we were told, yeah, it's going to be, and another thing, Johnny, that concerns me is, this time of year, where I'm going with all of three of y'all are big on weather. The weather is going to play a huge factor in that delay. Maybe they initially thought November and then got behind. And
there's been nothing unless it was in the winter when we had all the snow and ice, because this has been one of the driest springs and early summers we've had.
I'm talking about, I agree up to this point. I'm talking about we don't know what's going to happen in, say, August, September.
Yeah, but that shouldn't have changed. That shouldn't have delayed them already. Who knows? Maybe they're just saying February. As long as it's ready by the time the season starts, that's all that matters.
That's right. And Josh Thomas, you're going to be back in the jungle and the parking lot where you belong, but I will miss you and Johnny immensely. That was very cool to have you guys on the premium lot side. And I know that you felt like you were not at home and maybe lost compared to.
But we grew to love it, Dave.
What's that?
We grew to love it. It was a long walk to get there, but
yeah,
it was nice for 1 year.
Yeah, and it was nice to have you guys near me. So I'm selfish, but I will definitely miss you guys, and I'll have to make the trek in the jungle and walk over there to you guys like I normally, every once in a while I could get over there. But that'll be fun. And Kyle, we're going to have to get you at more games next year too, because I think we're going to have a good year. We'll see. Do we have anything more about baseball? We want to switch to, we're an hour in about.
Yeah, let's jump over to football. There's not a lot to really discuss with football, but the line did come out for the Alabama game, 26.5 points in favor of Alabama. I don't think that line's going to go up or down. I think it's going to stay. It may move slightly one way or another. It might go to 27. It may come down to 26, 25. I don't think it's going to move much. It's one of those lines where, you could easily lose that game by 4 touchdowns, and then you could easily lose it by 3 touchdowns. So that line is one of those that I don't know that it's going to move very much.
27 is a key number in gambling, though. I mean, that is a key number. 26.5 is a lot of value if you think it's going to be under 4 touchdowns. If it gets to 27.5, that's that's a different deal. But yeah, we'll see, Kyle.
The only thing that would cause it to move is injuries or suspension.
No. It'll move based on how much activity one side gets over the other. That's how it moves. They don't know. They're not making it.
I think what Alan was saying is injuries or something like that would make people bet more, but to make it move. But it's like you said, JR, 27, like you said, in gambling is a big line. So a lot of people may jump on that 26.5 early, which could bring it down a little. So I don't know. I hate this game. That's been well documented.
No, you did.
Well, I hate it in regards to getting the offense ready for the next couple games. But I just don't think we're going to have a chance to, get tempo, get rhythm, etc. But we'll see. I
Yeah.
do think our defense will show up. I do think that in terms of this offense uses so much of the quick game and uses so much of the screen game out of the quick game. These guys will, from a blocking standpoint, it ain't going to get no harder blocking than blocking those defenders for Alabama. So from that aspect, you can use that. And hey, you blocked well here. We picked up 12 yards on this screen. We picked up 20 yards on this screen. You can use that kind of stuff going forward against App, et cetera. But I don't know. Anyway, we have to play it. 26.5. I know Dave says take the points. I don't know. I wouldn't touch that line. I could definitely see us covering it, but I could see us getting beat by 28 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'm not a bettor, so I guess I can say that. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. And then uh, I think overall, like I've said many times before, I think what would you say? Let me ask you guys this. I know it's way too early. I'm not asking talent wise, but if you had a record that you're going to put on this year, what would be a disappointing season for you guys football wise in 2026?
Disappoint to me. I mean, when you look at the schedule on paper, outside of Alabama, there's not another game you look at and say 100% loss. There are games that you feel better about than others. I
Eight
hate
and
to.
five for me.
You mean 8-4?
Yeah, less than 8 wins, I think, is disappointing.
You
Yeah,
mean eight
I
and
agree.
four? You're talking about regulars. 8-5 is impossible unless you're talking
No,
about
I'm
bowl
going
games.
with the bowl game.
I'm not going to count bowl game. We're going to count regular season. Well,
Okay, eight and
I'm going to
four
count
then.
regular season.
8 and 4.
I hate to say 8-4 because I know how bad this program has been, so I don't want to crap on 7-5. So if the offense comes together early, anything less than 8-4 is a disappointment.
That's
If the
fair.
offense struggles early, like Coastal last year, ended up 6-6 and firing their head coach, I don't think they should have fired him. I think he did a great job. As bad as that team was early in the year,
Yeah.
to get them to 6-6, I think they made a mistake firing him. But um, if we end up in a situation like that where the offense struggles to come together early, then I'll say anything less than 7-5. Otherwise, if the offense comes together reasonably early, anything less than 8-4 would be disappointment.
Okay, let me qualify my 8 and 5 because I put it out there for a reason. 8 and 4 is borderline with me, and if we go 8 and 4 and win the bowl game, then okay, I'm not really disappointed. Depending on what games we lose, but if we lost the bowl game and went 8 and 4 and went 8 and 5, then I'd be like, this was a disaster. And I know
It's just,
bowl games shouldn't mean as much as they do, but I feel like it is good for promoting your team.
oh, it did great. Blake Harrell was the talk of college football a little bit as the group of five. And I think he will be going into this year. I think he'll be one of the hot commodities because of the bowl performance last year, nine wins and et cetera. So yeah, they're important. Like I said, if we have a Coastal Carolina type situation where the offense just doesn't click, but then we win 5 in a row to end the season, and we're 7-5, it's going to be hard for me to say that's disappointing. I hope that's not the case. I think with this schedule and what I think we're going to be on defense, if the offense comes together, I think we could have a 9-3, 10-2 type season. But I'm not going to be disappointed at 8-4. So for me again, I hesitate everything on predictions and what I would be disappointed with until I see this offense on the field after about 3 or 4 games.
Right. I
Okay.
understand. I'm just saying we have to. It's the summertime, and
Yeah,
look
I
way
know.
ahead.
I just think it's the nature of what it is now. It's hard to make predictions.
Yep.
It is.
I think I really need to get my copy of Phil Steele, look at other teams and what they did in the portal. Our opponent number 2, App State, to me is interesting. They feel like they did well in the portal. They didn't do as well as we did. They lost a lot of players, and they didn't have a very good season last year. They play Maine week 1 when we're playing Alabama, which I don't like that. They can get their offense going, but I'll tell you what I do like. Maine plays week 0. FCS week 1 now is week 0. So by the way, kids, so you get a full slate of FCS games on week 0 now. So Maine opens up with, I'd have to go look, but they play a game week 0. You improve your most over week 1 and week 2, and Maine's not a bad FCS program. So Maine's going to have a game under their belt when they play App. So App could have their hands full with Maine.
Yeah, you never know. We lost in 2017.
Well, Maine upset several years ago. Maine upset Mississippi State. You'd have to look back in your record books when that was, early 2000s. But Maine's had some good years, some good seasons over the years.
Yep. I really wish you wouldn't mention 2017 opener day. Or I have PTSD to this point. From
It was 2018, fellas.
Was it 2018?
Yeah, unless you mean JMU. I'm assuming you mean A&T.
Quite well. I was sitting with a bunch of A&T fans just to sit outside and enjoy the day. Remember, it got weathered out, and we played it on a Sunday.
On Sunday, correct.
I was there on Saturday, but I had to work on Sunday.
Yeah.
I was there, and in that last play of the game, I actually thought we connected on the Hail Mary, and it looked like it briefly. We caught that ball, and I thought we had pulled it out of our ass, and then to see the A&T player seller, I was so mad. And if you go back on the audio archives, you can find it on any of our audio platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. That is a classic episode, audio only, of the Sports Objective to listen to.
That was you want to talk about, that was one of those moments where you can look at different moments of our show in 8.5 years, but you're right, Kyle, when we talk about podcast gold, there was so many people like us.
A&T was sharing it. It was so viral. A&T shared it on their Twitter.
Yeah.
Their football page, our podcast. Because we were so bombastic after the game. But
why wouldn't we be?
Yeah, I know. He should have been fired that day. And then, of course, as Jessica called, my wife, she said, we're going to beat North Carolina next week. I said, what the hell makes you say that? She said, it just seems like something we do. And it was lo and behold.
That was Bolton's coming out party.
Yeah, it was. We upset North Carolina, had about half their team suspended because of a shoe scandal or something. I don't remember the exact thing, but they had like 9 players suspended for that game, and we were the beneficiary thereof, and beat the Tar Heels, and had Montgomery just managed to beat A&T game 1. Who knows what would have happened that year, because we almost beat South Florida a few games later.
Yes.
But
we skipped the BT game, and that's why they don't play us anymore.
Yeah, and then almost beat South Florida, and
getting ready for South Florida.
Yeah, and it would have worked out had we won the game. But I remember watching that South Florida game, and just we had no offensive game plan. The defense played well. Coach Blackwell, who I love, Coach Blackwell.
Yes.
Need to have him back on the show sometime. He had the defense playing well that game, and I remember we were down like by 1 touchdown, and the whole fourth quarter, all we did was just kept trying to throw deep balls, kept taking shots deep over and over. No game plan. Let's just throw deep to see if we can hit a lucky shot. And anyway, thank God he's gone.
Yeah, that was a great day, but
no, it wasn't.
Hey, Dave, since we're talking about football, I think we should address something that was relatively recent news, is the fact that Memphis is going full-blown $21+ million with their rev share, and it's going to be basketball is going to be more than football. But football, they're going to go almost $8 million. So we got to.
That is interesting. They're going to give more to basketball. Yeah. Holy shit!
By $2,000.
Wow. And I know they still got some other NIL money from FedEx, but they said, and what I found very interesting, and they said it openly, they said, we're going to do this 2 or 3 years, and if we don't get in a Power 4 conference, we're going to stop it. Right. But here's the thing. You're going to get in a Power 4 conference by making the college football playoffs, not by UConn ain't in a power conference. So you can win all the national championships you want in basketball. Memphis is going to get you in a power conference. Football is what's going to do it. But good for them. I don't know that I would have came out and said publicly that if we don't get in a power conference, we're not going to do it anymore. I think that's pretty stupid, actually, to say that publicly. But they did. I'm glad to hear they're not going to be putting that much into football. I wonder how Charlie Huff feels about that. But again, how much is FedEx investing, et cetera. But that is interesting. Memphis is doing that. It was kind of implied they were going to do that anyway, and they would be the only school in the American to do that. Gilbert basically said that a couple years ago. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of difference it makes on the. I think on the hardwood. Did they keep? Did they fire dude? Did they fire Penny finally, or is Penny still there?
No,
Oh, can you believe
I
that?
think they saw, maybe they knew this was coming, and they're like, we're just going to buy him a bunch of players, and
Yeah, well, if Hardaway doesn't get it done this year,
oh, he's cooked. He's cooked.
he is goose is cooked. But it'll make a difference on the hardwood. They'll probably dominate the American again in basketball like they used to, going back to the Conference USA days even. And football, we'll see. Charlie Huff is a really good recruiter, works the portal well. The thing about Huff traditionally, except his final year at Marshall where they won the Sun Belt, his teams seem to fall off as the year goes on. So when do we play Memphis, guys? Is that in November or October? I hope it's in November.
October, I believe, on a Thursday night.
Well, maybe that'll be the beginning of them starting to go south. Because I guarantee you, at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year, they're going to be red hot.
Yeah, they. We have 2 Thursday night games back to back off the top of my head, and Memphis is one. I'll get the football schedule up here in just a second.
While you're doing that, Kyle, what do you think about with the additional rev share funds available? I feel like one of the biggest advantages is being able to know that you can keep your own players. Like if you have players that are getting it done for you, you can keep them.
Yes, and I still think that's going to, even with Memphis, that's going to be a problem because with SEC schools wanting them. But yes, except at high-profile positions like quarterback, et cetera, I think you do, and maybe offensive lineman. I think you do stand a much bigger chance of keeping your own players with that higher revenue sharing. And then, if you lose a kid, you've got the most money in the American or the group of 6 now with the Pac-12 to go out and get somebody else. So it's a huge advantage for Memphis. I don't know how far behind we are in football. I don't think very much, honestly. Basketball, we would obviously be mega behind. But in football, I don't think we're that far behind them.
Yeah.
But,
by the way, we play UAB on the Thursday night before on the 15th, and then we play Memphis on the road. Both games are on the road, back-to-back Thursday nights. That'll be on October 22nd in the Liberty Bowl.
yeah, I don't like that. Back-to-back road Thursday night games. It is what it is. UAB, I don't. They promoted from within. I don't know that they've done well in the portal. I don't know that UAB in this current landscape of college football is ever going to do anything. So hopefully that'll be a win that we get. Memphis will, that'll probably be a big game. Memphis will probably be, again, like us, competing for that conference championship. At least, you hope we are, and Memphis probably will be too. So that'll probably be a very big Thursday night game. And then we got a big Friday night game later in the year. Thursday. I like Thursday road games better than home Thursday games.
I think Justin's talking about because transporting.
Yeah. And then we got a Friday game with South Florida, which is going to be a very important conference game at home later in the season. I wish that was on Saturday, but it is what it is.
How about ABC coming to Greenville December 5th? We're hosting the championship.
It's yet to be determined.
I'm the first one. I told you guys I'm bullish on Blake Harrell and this crowd, and I think with if it was,
I think it's possible.
Absolutely.
But South Florida, Memphis, North Texas, Tulane,
UTSA.
Maybe we'll all have some say in it. And I expect somebody's going to step up like Army, and have a big year. So it'll it's not going to be, I definitely think it's a possibility that we could be in the championship game, whether it be in Greenville or on the road. But we're going to have some competition. Right now, my main focus is getting through Alabama and beating App State. I can't stress how important it is that we beat App State. We cannot lose to those guys 4 times in a row. Yeah. That is a must-win. 12:00 kickoff, ESPNU. I don't give a damn if we win it by 1 point in triple overtime. Just beat them.
Right. 100%.
And if the students want to rush the field with their shirts off, I'll be perfectly fine with that too.
Yeah, Appalachians. And by the way, Kyle, you mentioned this before with the scheduling. We need that schedule. We need to have App State renewal of that
It
contract.
needs to be a long term. I don't understand why that hasn't been done. That is something Gilbert has got to get done, and it shouldn't be an issue. It's something App should want to. I can't imagine that they don't. So that needs to be done. I think we need to get a series with Marshall back on the. And
Yep.
these are games that Gilbert should want to play. He wants to play regional games. We need to get Marshall back on the schedule, and
Yep.
then I'd like to see a series with JMU. I heard JMU's pretty booked, but I'd like to get something down the line with them.
Yeah.
I heard. I don't know if this is just a rumor or not, but I've heard Delaware's name come up, which as a regional game. So who knows? But
Yeah.
What about Maryland? Maryland is a Big
yeah,
Ten.
Maryland doesn't have any interest. I mean, if except a bye game, I'm sure we could do a bye game with Maryland. But in terms of a home and home, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, does that move the needle at all? Really? I mean,
What's that? Delaware or Maryland?
Maryland or Delaware, really?
Maryland does. Hell yeah. If you could get a home and home with Maryland, yeah, sure. But it's not going to happen. But I would do a bye game with them if they wanted to pay us, upwards to $1 million to go play at Maryland. They're in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Easy trip. Our fans would go.
We'd have a huge. That's my point. We would have. You think about all the Pirates in Virginia, Maryland, the DMV, if you will, plus those of us in northeastern North Carolina.
Yeah.
And we have people like Bubba and folks.
Yeah, a bye game with Maryland would make a lot of sense. If we're going to do bye games, that's the kind of bye game I want to do. I don't want to do them at all. If it was, I'm from the Terry Holland school of thought, and I know things have changed, but I don't do them at all. But if I was going to do them, Maryland would be somebody I do want to with. Alan, to answer your question about Delaware, no, it doesn't move any kind of needle anywhere at all. The only thing that would move any needle with me is their name isn't Coastal Carolina or Old Dominion, because that seems to be the only schools that Gilbert schedules at the FBS. So. That would be the only thing. I mean, all right, well, somebody different. And we do have Georgia State coming in still. That's still on the books. They're coming in. Is it 27? Yeah, 27.
Yeah, they moved it up. Justin Butt says, "Give me Liberty."
Liberty is on the schedule still, Justin. There's still games coming with Liberty.
We need to have. Well, I do agree with you, Kyle, 100% with. How about the fact that we need to have, you said JMU, perfect example. And
Marshall is somebody that I don't understand.
West Virginia.
Well, Marshall is, again, a series that I would imagine both schools would want it. It is historically important. You tell me one, I mean, well, there is a few examples, but almost every time East Carolina Marshall plays is a great game.
Yeah.
And I mean,
history.
And the history from the plane crash. And it has been man, there was at one point in Conference USA, that thing was a heated rivalry when it was the East Division. I mean, so again, I don't think Gilbert appreciates very much the rivalries historically for East Carolina. Because the Southern Miss game has came up, and he doesn't seem to really care about that very much. In Marshall, it seems to be the same thing. I don't understand how he doesn't, for people my age and y'all's age, that Marshall game means a lot. And I don't know why, it needs to be. It needs to be on the schedule for 2030. That's going to be the
60th anniversary.
60th anniversary of the crash, and it needs to be on the schedule.
Not only that, but like I was saying, when you think about, if you go by his philosophy, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Maryland.
It makes perfect sense.
Jim Crockett promotions kind of like territory. If you look at that,
it's a regional game. I don't know why in the world, I don't get it.
Hey, Win, super chats. He says he likes regional games.
I like some regional games, yes, but I also, Memphis is playing UNLV this year. I saw another American school playing like Oregon State or Washington State. I can't remember who it was. Or Boise. Who was it? Somebody playing Boise, actually. God, who was it? Shit.
When
there's some American school playing Boise this year. If you check their schedule, you'll see it.
Yeah.
And then you have Memphis UNLV week 0. Memphis at UNLV week 0 is live on Fox.
That's a great game.
I mean, so I'd love to play, a team from the new Pac-12. They only play. There's only 8 teams in their conference. They only play 7 conference games, so they're playing 5 non-conference games. There's a lot of chance to schedule those Pac-12 schools. I'd love to play one of them.
And there's a rumor going around that they want more, like 4 teams on the Eastern Seaboard, if you will.
If they're going to do that, they're going to get turned down again. If they're going to do it, there needs to be a full-scale merger where half the American goes over to. That's the only way that's going to happen.
Yeah,
Otherwise, they're just going to keep. It's not going to happen. But I really would like to explore a Washington State, a Oregon State, a Boise State, UNLV for the Mountain West.
yeah.
I think there's interest from our fan base. As soon as we heard they were moving up to Mountain West, North Dakota State, I'd love to go play in the Fargo Dome. That would be freaking fun as hell.
Yeah, that's the thing is that we understand, and I will say this to be fair to Gilbert and the administration, we understand that you can't have a whole bunch of non-conference games where you're playing, way
No,
far
because
away.
we play a national scheduling conference. So I think
We
his thoughts
understand
are to
that,
play
but
regional non-conference. But doing a home and home with a Pac-12 school every couple years like the BYU thing, it's good for the
yes,
program. It's different for the fans. It's good for the program. Look, App State this year beat a bad Oregon State team. But
yeah,
it seemed like something because Oregon State's still a recognizable name. They stormed the freaking field for winning that game. I
yeah.
mean, I would get a whole lot more excited about beating Washington State than I would Coastal Carolina. Even
I
though,
agree.
even though I have no problem playing Coastal. I love the trip down there last year. It's just I would like to do. I get the majority of the non-conference games being regional, but I think every couple years having a home and home with the Pac-12 makes a lot of sense.
Yep, there's just something different about playing a football game on the coast, and Pirate fans are up at midnight watching ECU.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to go to San Diego? That Snapdragon
Oh
Stadium,
yeah,
San
There
Diego
you go.
State's new stadium,
Yeah.
is out of this world. It's a different experience from any other stadium, and it's not real big, but I mean that'd be a great trip.
Yep.
Well, you think of an exposure standpoint. A lot of these Mountain West Pac-12 schools play Hawaii non-conference, so they're eligible to play Week 0. And these Week 0 rules seem to be more and more lenient all the time. You talk about national exposure for playing Alabama. Memphis is going to get national exposure prime time on Fox, not FS1, not FX, but Fox, playing UNLV Week 0. I mean, in a Mountain West opponent there, not even Pac-12.
And I love football. I watch a lot of that Mountain West stuff late at night.
I do too. But Week 0, Fox. I mean, that you can't get any more. You can't get any more exposure than being the only game on prime time
yeah.
at the FBA. It's great exposure. And we talk about getting it from Alabama. I don't know, man. I love stuff like that. I'd love to see us do a home and home with a Pac-12 or a Mountain West.
But Kyle, we can have the best of both worlds there, where we always agree. You and I agree that we shouldn't be playing a bye game every year, and also
I wouldn't have a problem with a bye game every year if it was a Northwestern or a Maryland or somebody like that. You just don't need to do it with an Alabama. I wouldn't do it ever because it's just such a daunting task. When I do want to play Alabama, I really do. I want to play them in the playoffs. That's when I want to see somebody like that on the schedule. And I think you give yourself a better chance of achieving that. Now, losing to Alabama is not going to hurt us if we don't get injured and we can establish some things on offense. If we go 11-1 and our only loss is to Alabama and we win the conference championship game, we're in the playoffs. We're in the playoffs. So it's not going to hurt us from that standpoint to lose to them. But at the same time, it wouldn't hurt us to lose to Maryland or Northwestern either.
Right. And we talk about, games all the time. There's plenty of teams out there that will do home and homes with us that are at our, when you say the group of 6, I hate to use that term, or the power 4, it's media driven. It's not real. And I believe with all the teams that are out there, and I forget how many teams we're up to now. It seems like we added.
Oh God! And you mean in all of FBS?
Yeah, 136.
I think with Sacramento State moving up this year, North Dakota State moving up, we're at 138, I believe.
Oh, okay. See, there we go. Every year it seems like I hadn't checked that yet. But anyway, my point is there are plenty of teams at our level, meaning even group of 6 and power 4, if you want to say. I think there's Kyle, you mentioned a great team that I really want to play, and that's UNLV. You know why? Because Vegas is a great city. And I don't know if you guys, how many have been, but Vegas is a great city. And There's so much to do there, and the fact that UNLV is a game that I think we could win. There's so many events, and another thing that we need to be careful of, guys, is I understand the strategy financially why we don't want to do a whole bunch of away games because we have the conference schedule that we do. However, if you go play UNLV, being in Las Vegas, that big market, and it's become a sports town like no other in the last handful of years, then we've got to act like who we are, and we are a national brand. And that's why when you play you want to see like Utah State or Colorado State, and I'm not saying, and Kyle and I are both in agreement, we're not saying play these games every year, but I do think they should be sprinkled. And like we were talking about in Hattiesburg, Southern Miss is a big deal. Like, we need to not play them every year like we used to, but a home and home.
Yeah, home and home with Southern Miss would be great. You announced a home and home with Colorado State, any of those Pac-12 schools, and many in the Mountain West. I'd be happy with them. And it just needs to be done sporadically, not a yearly thing. You don't need to go sign a bunch of them, but we need something. I mean, you can't just schedule Coastal and Old Dominion nonstop.
And there's another, and like we've said before, we don't have a problem of scheduling those. We just need to schedule
mix it up more.
Yes.
Fans get excited when we play someone that we don't play, maybe never, or on a semi-regular basis. I mean, that a lot of people get excited if we went to Colorado State or UNLV, because it's something different. It's unique.
And Washington State and Oregon State and Boise State all have the cachet with their name. And, we had a home and home with Boise State, and it got canceled, and we allowed it to get canceled. But anyway, it is what it is. We were pretty down at that point, and Boise didn't think it would benefit them to play us, and we just said okay. But
then they played
well, I was on the upswing at that time, and now we're on the upswing. And Boise is playing somebody from the American this year. It may be South Florida. I don't know. But
I'll look it up.
No, I thought it was. Aren't they playing Memphis too? No.
Are they playing Memphis also? You could be right. It may be Memphis. It may be.
I'm looking it up right now for you guys.
Okay. It may be Memphis playing at UNLV and at Boise. But,
you're right, Johnny. Johnny, it's going to be at Boise on the second game of this. Let's see. Yeah, the second game of the season. That would have been September 12th.
So are you telling me Memphis is going to play week 0 in Vegas, and then 2 weeks later they're going to go out to Boise? Wow. Interesting.
I got the cash, Kyle.
Because they're trying to. That's very smart.
National exposure. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah. I don't know. We need to do more of that. I like Gilbert. He's very physically minded, very conservative from that aspect, but I think sometimes he doesn't think big enough. I think if let's take a survey and see how many fans. Maybe I'll put that up on our social media here in the coming days. How many fans would be interested in playing a Pac-12 or Mountain West school? And you list the schools and see what kind of reaction we get.
Think about all the people too. Do you remember, Kyle, when you were talking about BYU? Do you remember we had a decent amount of fans that went to BYU, and
BYU is a different animal. That's a big name. That's obviously, there's nobody. Boise would be the closest thing to that at the Pac-12 level now, along with the Washington State and Oregon State because of name recognition. So you're not going to create that kind of excitement. Maybe with Boise you would, but still, I do think there would be quite a bit of excitement for any of those Pac-12 schools and some of those Mountain West schools like UNLV.
Yeah, no doubt. We're going to have.
And by the way, I do want to, since we're talking college football, we mentioned Sacramento State's moving up. They wanted to get in the Pac-12 or the Mountain West. Both told them no. When Northern Illinois left to go to the Mountain West, they are joining the MAC with the hope of turning that into an invitation to the Pac-12 or the Mountain West. So Sacramento State in the MAC, and then
that's crazy. I didn't know that.
North Dakota State joining the Mountain West, which makes sense actually. And I'm really anxious to see North Dakota State making their FBS debut with the amount of tradition and success they've had at the FCS level. how are they going to transition into playing in the Mountain West? And that Fargo Dome is still such a unique, tough place to play. So
Man,
I think they'll do well, just because of that home field advantage they have.
I love.
There ain't no other place in the FBS like the Fargo Dome. It is a unique, smaller dome, and it's loud in there.
What's the seating capacity? Do you know?
I think it's 30,000, but
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
knew it was
100 on that.
Yeah, I was guessing between 25. I just by your naked eye when you see a game, my guess was 25 to 30, but I didn't know. Johnny's a stats guy, right? Johnny, not me. So
Yeah.
Actually, it's around 19,000.
Wow.
Kyle, do you think Boise State will remain a marquee name if they don't start winning some titles?
That's a good question. It hasn't been that long since they won the Mountain West. Now they're going to Pac-12. It's a good question. I think they're spending money on the higher end of the group of 5 or group of 6 level. I think if they don't make the playoff, if they don't represent the Pac-12 in the college football playoff in the next 5-6 years, I think some of that cachet will go away. You can't stay relevant if you're not. So I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. My hunch is yes, but probably not to the level they were a decade ago.
Guys, a little breaking news. How about this? Louisville Kings advanced to the UFL title game. Steve Logan,
nice
coordinator.
All right.
Louisville beats St. Louis, so they're going to the championship game of the UFL with Steve Logan running the offense.
That is outstanding.
All right, Coach Logan there.
Is that game next week?
Is Skip Holt still the head coach of Birmingham, and is he playing Steve Logan? Oh, okay.
They started really slow, but then they picked it up, and they beat a very good St. Louis team to have a chance to win a championship. How about that? That'll be an interesting when the Logan show returns in September or August, late August, to 4-3. That'll be interesting, an interesting topic for sure.
No doubt. I'm excited. I wish Kyle and I've talked about it, and I don't want to have a long discussion, but I still will never understand, Kyle, you and I, we've talked about it on the show in the past, why in the hell you wouldn't keep the USFL name. I love that name.
I don't know. Stupidity.
Hey, Alan, are you aware, is Michael Winstead still on? I assume he's still on that team.
Isaiah Winstead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, he was. I didn't watch much.
I watched them play. They played the same team twice to start the season.
Yeah.
And I watched the second game, and he had a great game. Yeah. And I was hoping he was still on the roster and contributing.
Yeah, they changed quarterbacks after about 3 games, and then they turned it completely around with a new quarterback. So yeah, man, how about that? That's pretty.
That's
cool.
what a good offensive coordinator does.
Pretty cool for don't you know, there'll be great stories on the Logan Zone.
And I had this kid, and I told him, "You're not good enough even to be in the UFL."
Yeah. I told him, I said you could throw a BB through a gnat's rear end or whatever. I love Logan, man. That to me, that's the best radio sports talk radio show on the terrestrial radio right now.
I've said it. I know he doesn't want to do it, but if I were Henry, I would have him right after Dan Patrick on 94.3 The Game. And I know I'm not Hank or Henry, and the other thing is, I've said this before, and Kyle knows it. If I were Henry Hinton, I would have, even if Steve Logan is at the beach, I would have him do a post-game show that would be classic like no other. And I love everybody at Pirate Radio. I'm not trying to throw shade at them at all. But I if it were me, I would have somebody hosting.
Well, Pirate Radio keeps losing everybody. They lost Holton now. I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From what I understand, Holton. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here, but I don't think Holton is still associated with them. Am I wrong on that?
I don't know enough to comment, Kyle, but what I have noticed with Henry, and there's no mistaking that those two are at war. Like there's no.
It has been for years.
Yeah. But with Henry, what I've noticed with 94.3 the game and all that is they're really, really stepping up their social media, trying to put
Yes.
stuff out there. Like Pirate Radio. Pirate Radio is just a machine when it comes to that.
Yep. That is a strength. Pirate Radio's strength is social media.
Yeah.
And
They're very good at it.
They jumped on it early too. They started,
Oh yeah,
pushing social media really hard, 15 years ago. That's great forethought from that crowd, and that's really been one of the reasons I think Pirate Radio has been so successful is there's
no doubt their social media presence was huge for their success they've had over the years. So I don't know. It is what it is. I come as far as our football coverage goes. I'll put our football coverage up against anybody's.
I'm very surprised, and I've said it publicly many times, that Henry does not have a post game show.
He tried, and I named it and didn't get any credit for it. And in hindsight, I said some things off the air that I probably shouldn't have, and it hurt us long term because we were involved quite a bit with 94.3 at one point, and probably could have expanded that relationship. But me and my mouth, probably hurt that. And but they did initially try a no quarter post game show, which I named, and it unfortunately didn't take off. I don't think they had the right people doing it, had the right approach. They didn't take calls really that much.
That's right there. And like I said, you got to have
some consistency to anything you do like that. You
got to have one year and not do it the other, and you can't do it some games and not the other.
And you got to take calls, and you got to let people say what they want to. And you need some characters and some personality. It can't be dry as
I know.
So and I think it is what it is. But fifth quarter calling shows a staple. I think we could do a really good post game show here with the podcast. But all of us are really, I'm locked in. I'm not normally in the mood to do a 1 hour show after the game. I want to give me a quick soundbite, say something, and get off the air and go either celebrate.
There's no way, because I go to the games and then there's just not enough time to try to get home and
and I'm either in celebration fired up mode or either I'm in fired up pissed off mode.
Right. And
once I get my soundbite done, I either want to go celebrate and watch more football, or either I want to wash it out of my system and get ready for next week.
Yeah. It's just hard to do it. It's like I've always thought that there should be a post a late night high school football wrap up radio show for people that are driving home or whatever. But it's so hard to do logistically, and to get the people in place, have all the scores, get the sound bites, and it'd be very hard to do. But we need something. I
agree with that, because you're right, Alan. I was telling, I was trying to remember who I was telling, but recently I was talking about how you and I are like dinosaurs when it comes to doing high school radio. When it comes to football, high school football and radio, it's just not what it used to be. And so there are people that are like, it's funny because when you go to when we go to a away game, they're like, "Oh, you guys have radio?"
Well, it's funny around here. It's still a big deal. It's a big deal for Pirate. With Conley, thank goodness. I'm happy to be a part of that. And then Henry does 3 or 4 different games on IBX on a Friday night. So the thing that's missing now, you don't hear it on the Wilson stations or the Rocky Mount station or the Tarboro like you used to. Used to be you could listen to 5 or 6 different games any particular Friday night, and it's kind of gone away.
Yeah, Alan, I've noticed that about Eastern North Carolina. I really I listened to you, and I think Richard did a game with you. He stepped in for somebody.
Yeah.
And I just love listening to high school football on the radio, and we don't get to do that in Northern Virginia anymore. Back in the day, it was Jim Thacker and Billy Packer. They would do our game of the week.
Wow.
And then after them, it was, some other local DC people. And now they haven't done it in 30 years. So I love the fact that you all are still doing it.
Johnny listens to me, so I appreciate you, Johnny. I'll put the check in the mail.
Yeah, absolutely. I do.
Justin, WGBR does a game of the week in Wayne County. They do a Wayne County game of the week, which is very cool. My guys up there do that. It just that used to be a huge moneymaker for local radio in the fall. When NASCAR was kicking, that was a big moneymaker to start the year when the advertising was slowing down. And then high school football in the fall was a huge moneymaker.
Yeah. He says that A-Win, another $2. Thank you, A-Win, for support.
What's he saying there? IBX versus Pirate Radio.
Is a healthy competition.
Yeah,
definitely.
There's quite a. I think we all kind of know the history of.
Oh yeah, Troy and Henry and all that. Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
And Troy's not involved, obviously, with Pirate Radio anymore, but it's still, that's the thing is that talking about the competition, competition or whatever. But one thing I wish I could do, it probably will never happen, not because of the two of us, but I would love Alan to be able to do a game with Alan. We've never, but because of we're always covering different teams, but you're always welcome on our broadcast, AV.
Yeah, man, you guys, you and do a great job with Martin County, but you're right. You're somewhere and I'm somewhere else, for 10 weeks or 12 weeks, playoff time every Friday night. So
yeah, I would love to be in the car with you and Richard, because two great guys, Pirate guys, two great guys that, like there's certain people, that you would have fun on a road trip. And then there's some that you're like, we're friends, but I don't want to get in the car with them, whether they can't drive.
Steve Gilmore and I have ridden many of miles, and you and I love Steve Gilmore, Buddy Medlin and I and Richard. But Steve Gilmore, we love him, and I don't think he gets nearly enough credit for what he's done for high school athletics in Eastern North Carolina for a long time. He's a first-class individual. He really is.
Yeah, he said, Dave, use y'all's bye week, but the bye week is not always going to be the same, Justin. So unless I haven't looked at y'all's schedule, and I'll have to look at ours, but it's always.
Well, you wouldn't want the bye week to be the same. You would want one of you to be playing if you're going to do a game together.
Yeah.
Well, that's one. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if we could both, so we. Let me see if I can figure what he's saying there. If Conley is off, I can go, work with Dave, or if Martin County's off, Dave can come work with, and be a part of, a little bit of our broadcast as well. Dave kind of does his own thing there now. I'm working with Pirate Radio. Dave's an independent contractor. I'm not.
That's true, and we're going to be doing. You'll be able to hear it here and listen to it. Anyway, you'll be able to hear football, basketball, and baseball for Martin County. So I can actually already announce that. So I'm very excited about that, where we're going to be giving coverage to all three big sports. And Alan, hopefully we can have you help out with basketball. And speaking of Steve Gilmore, Gilmore also.
I enjoyed doing that, Dave. We did a lot of fun. We did the state championship game. We had some technical issues, but once we got those figured out, that was a lot of fun to do that.
No doubt. No doubt, for sure. And we'll have to get Kyle from LaGrange, because commentary, we can give him do some commentary at halftime. Or
that would bring some ears.
Kyle
Stats, Robertson.
Just let Kyle have a halftime rant about whatever he wants to talk about. Kyle,
if there was a monitor, if there was a monitor to watch the game, I would love to call the game. But unfortunately, calling the game from the press box with my vision would not be very practical. But if there was a monitor, like you have in college and in pro, I'd love to call the game.
Put you down on the sidelines, man.
Yeah, let's go down to Kyle from LaGrange. Oh my goodness, he just tripped a player. Yeah, I didn't like him.
That's right.
Woody Hayes. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. By the way, very disappointed last night. I fell asleep in talking about NHL. I fell asleep, and you guys know I love my Canes. I was a little tired, and I made it to the blankety blank. I made it to the third period, and I fell asleep. And I woke up, and it was way after the game. I was so upset that
we got home from we went to Bird's Nest listening room and saw Matt Mason over in Dunn. By the way, great venue. Check it out sometime if you love live music. Love independent country. Matt Mason was phenomenal. But anyway, we got home at the very end of the third period, and then watched the two overtimes. Jessica stayed up and watched it with me, and unfortunately, God Almighty, trying to explain. I'm not a hockey expert by any
Me
means,
neither.
but I certainly have a grasp of knowledge of it, just from general sports knowledge, and trying to explain hockey to her last night and different what icing was, and I might as well have been trying to explain Chinese arithmetic to an orangutan. It was good Lord. But I did enjoy her staying up and watching both overtimes with me. Unfortunately, the
Yeah.
Canes did not win.
I was at the track and I had a guy who would come up to me and tell me the score with his phone, and it was 4-0 Vegas when we left the racetrack.
Would have been the biggest comeback win in Stanley Cup final history had they pulled it off.
Yep. And I'm in Vanceboro. My phone rings. It's my son. He says, "Dad, are you watching this?" And I'm like, "No, bud. We're about 30 minutes from home. What's going on?" He said, "Carolina has just scored 3 goals in 39 seconds or whatever it was to tie the game."
They cut it to 1 score, I think, during that 39-second period, and then they scored I could be wrong. I turned it on around the time they scored that 4th goal, which was like a minute and some change to go.
But yeah, they scored quickly, and that was I saw the highlights. I tell you what, I missed that because, and I'll tell you,
no, you didn't. You don't hate you missed it. They lost.
Yeah.
No, but I would have liked that game. But
that makes it worse, Dave. You do all that and then lose. I mean,
And the way they
talk about
heart-wrenching,
yeah. They got to win Tuesday night. They got to get the series back to 2-2.
Yeah.
But if it goes to 7, is Game 7 in Vegas or Raleigh?
It goes back and forth. It'll be Raleigh.
Game 7 will be in Raleigh.
Yeah.
So we played 2 in Raleigh. We played 2 in Vegas. Or we're going to play 2 in Vegas. So are the next 3. So if it goes 7 after these 2 in Vegas, are the final 3 in Raleigh?
No, final 2.
It's 1-1-1.
Are you sure, Dave?
It should be. Let's see. We'll go.
Is the first 2
Raleigh? It's going to go Raleigh, Vegas. Isn't that right?
So they did 2 in Raleigh. Now they're doing 2 in Vegas.
No, I think it's.
I think they do 3 in Vegas.
It's 2 in Raleigh, 3 in Vegas, 2 in Raleigh.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? The Canes also that 1 goal that Vegas scored was because they had too many. The Canes had too many players on the ice. You just don't see that. That's not something they do.
Ever.
Yeah. And they just don't do that, and it cost them, and it ended up maybe being the difference in that game.
I tell you one thing too, guys. We being the Carolina Hurricanes, we got some breaks too because they were the correct calls, but most of the time it would go against the Hurricanes. But they scored 2 goals that they waved off. It would have been 6-0.
Yeah.
But anyway, that game.
The key is Tuesday. They can't get down 3 games to 1. No. I mean, they can come back and win it, but boy, your back's against the wall. If you can make it 2 games, if you can get out of Vegas, even if it's 2 games to 3,
you got a shot.
Yeah, you bring it back home and you can win it at home.
Yeah, you cannot lose Tuesday night if you can.
And hey Johnny, here's a stat for Johnny Robertson they put up. I thought about you, Johnny, when they the ABC crew, of course, is ESPN on ABC, but they said that Game 3, whoever wins Game 3 wins 77% of the time. So I hope that's wrong. Good. Yeah, I hope that's wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, 23%. That means 23% of the time they don't.
That's correct. So I hope they're wrong, and I hope we're part of that 23%. And I've said my prediction was we win it in 7, we win it at home. So not that I wanted to go 7, but
at this point, you might want it to.
Yeah, exactly. But I predicted we won it in 7 in 2006 against Edmonton.
I'll tell you what, I do feel like that the whole state, at least east of Raleigh, is jumping on board big time this year. I see Kane stuff everywhere. I think, like I told Jessica last night, it's hard to believe, but next year's going to be 30 years they've been in North Carolina. 97.
Yeah, that is hard to believe.
And so, I'm 45 years old, so it's the majority of my life they've been in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, and you got people now that are in their 30s that don't know any life. They don't know North Carolina without the Hurricanes.
Right, and let's face it, the Hurricanes have been so good all year. If they don't win, it's going to be a huge disappointment.
Yeah, but I think it's like I say, it is interesting that people like me, who I'm not a hockey guy, I don't normally follow it, but I do. I've jumped on board this year, and it feels like there is some ownership. They've been around so long, they feel like they feel like they're our team, as in this state. I don't know, like I don't think people out in Charlotte in that area jump on board with anything around Raleigh, but I do think Raleigh East is really the
I
Triangle East is. I don't know how Greensboro, Charlotte, and all that area is. Any of our listeners out that way? Any Canes fans? How's Canes? How's it going out that way with people following it? But I do think from Raleigh. I went to Matt Mason concert last night. First thing when I walk in, I see a girl wearing a Carolina Hurricanes jersey.
Yep.
So I mean, it's and that's and done.
Several
So I guess
back last night wearing Carolina Hurricanes gear.
at the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. I think east of Raleigh's really, from the Triangle East, I think is really embracing it.
you have Greensboro has a farm team and for the Hurricanes, and Charlotte the Checkers as well. So I think there's Greensboro and Charlotte do have hockey, and I do think it's now. I don't know about like past Charlotte, like the mountains. I don't know how well but I think Charlotte and Greensboro, the metropolitan areas, because we have people that are from the north and they love hockey. I think there's even at least casual fans. I
still would venture to bet you that outside of the Triangle, the East is probably their biggest fan base.
I know, like growing up, even the early days of the Canes, there are people like down in Wilmington that drive back and forth for the season tickets. So you're right there. The Southeast, definitely. It'd be, I tell you what would be interesting is to see, that's a great study, Kyle. I wonder.
Well, I know a couple. I know there was a girl Jessica used to work with who's a huge Canes fan. There's a girl I know down in Moorhead who's a huge Canes fan. So like I say, I do think that outside of, and it's another thing too. It's just Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville. You go to Raleigh, so it's not far. I mean, I can be from my house in LaGrange. I can be to the Triangle. I can be to Garner or Clayton in 55 minutes, and then to Raleigh proper in like an hour and 5.
Yeah. What I'm hoping is the Hurricanes don't price the common man out.
By the way, the Attorney General is looking into that because of the guys. I know it was 20 years ago. But the top seat for the 300, not the top seat, but the 300 level used to be $30 for nosebleeds, right? And then for the actual Stanley Cup, I paid $100, and I didn't mind paying $100 because I was there at game 1. And then I went to the watch parties in 3 and 4, and I stood outside in game 5, but because I thought we were going to win it. But anyway, but to think that the cheapest ticket in Carolina is $1,100 for a nosebleed.
Insane.
Think about it. I want to take my children.
Well, who in the hell?
But that's second market, though. I mean, right?
It is
right. It has to be secondary market. Yeah. Okay. So, but what were they
not...
originally? Because somebody can afford that. What were they originally before they sold out through Ticketmaster?
That's a good question. I haven't heard that.
Thursday night regular season game against a bottom feeding team would be. I haven't looked at the regular season prices, but
yeah, they're reasonable. You can take your kid. Like I'm going to definitely take them. I've been saying that for 2 or 3 years, and they've been asking me. It's hard. Like a lot of the games, just same thing when the Hornets are during the week, and I'm trying really hard for my kids not to be exhausted the next day at school.
Yeah, it's hard. You're not going to get home before midnight or after,
right? And it's like 2 o'clock in the morning if you try to do the Charlotte thing, like during the week. But anyway. I'm not sure how much they are during. I think it was like 100, 125, something like that for the regular season off the top of my head. But it's not 1,100. I can promise you that. That is really. I don't know. That's the thing is that they need to be careful on that because your fan base. Well, a lot of us would love. I would love to be able to take my kids. They watch hockey with me on television, but they've never been to a game.
Yep. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think any of us are independently wealthy, but I can't do, about, $1,200 for a hockey ticket.
Yes,
no, and that wouldn't be regular season. That's secondary market. That's secondary market. I'd love to know what the playoff tickets were originally before they hit secondary market. But I don't know. It is what it is. Watch it on TV. I know Stevie had the opportunity to go be a security guard for the game 2, and he didn't do it. He passed that opportunity off to some other people. His boss, for example, who's a huge hockey fan, went and got paid $16 an hour to watch a hockey game.
Are you allowed to watch the
If we
game
can
though?
get in,
He
that's-
was. He had some responsibilities he had to attend to before the game, and
Okay.
some things he had to do. But from what he sounded like he told Stevie is the third period he was able to turn around and watch the game up until the very end, where he had to start getting ready to work.
Sure, he had to keep his eye on
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah, yeah. $16 an hour. That's now normal wage now for McDonald's and Burger King and
Almost,
uh,
almost.
hey, I mean,
I think that the minimum wage.
Unfortunately, not in Eastern North Carolina at McDonald's and Burger King. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Alan. They're still paying about $8 an hour.
here's what they're doing. They tell you, and I don't blame them. What they do is they have the $15-$20 an hour, whatever, but you have to be there like 3 months before it really kicks in.
They don't get that much in any fast food restaurants in North
No.
Carolina.
Well, you know what?
Not even close.
We have a new governor in Virginia, and she is pushing through a $16 minimum wage. That's going to kill some businesses.
The minimum wage in North Carolina needs to be raised. Anybody who thinks you can do anything except maybe a high school kid for $7 some change an hour, which is still our minimum wage, is asinine. We need I think a $12 minimum wage is acceptable.
They got to come up with here's the why, because here's why you have to do it, because if you want people to be able to buy anything, I mean, groceries, my God, I get like,
I think people should just start stealing shit. I really do. I think people should just start stealing groceries. Just
we don't
necessity.
need
No, I think they do.
I
think they do. I think at this
oh
point,
my God.
I think at this point, our government and our country has showed they're so effing greedy that at this point, people should just start going to the grocery store and stealing groceries off the shelf.
Dave,
that wouldn't help you and I at all.
Well, actually,
we're doing it too. I'm saying everybody. I mean, me, you, Dave, Alan. I mean, all God's children that live in the United States should just start stealing shit.
Well, hey guys,
particularly the biggest name brands, just Nestle, Coke. Just steal their shit. Just start stealing it.
Hey, guess what? I just lost my job, so maybe I need to go to a soup kitchen.
Wednesday because I stole a 46-cent pack of orange Kool-Aid.
Is orange Kool-Aid 46 cents?
Yeah, it was the other day. I mean, I still get it.
That's amazing. That is truly amazing. Don't steal that. That's still reasonable.
Alan, that is not your go-to flavor though for Kool-Aid, is it?
No. I like
I think your black raspberry.
Raspberry lemonade is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
My favorite they don't make anymore. Where it was called Purple Saurus Rex.
You can get it on eBay.
You can get what?
I'm joking.
That'd be disgusting. Well, you can make it yourself. It's grape and lemonade mixed.
Yeah, I bought about 12 packs of Kool-Aid, and I did the self-checkout. You run them through, ding, 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 and on about the 8th one, obviously,
you start sticking them in your pocket.
It didn't go through. The little
they all say
other stuff, and they have to come and reset the machine. And because the Kool-Aid didn't go through. So.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, and I'm being serious on this. I'm not being serious about going to the store and stealing groceries. But if we don't stand up as Americans and put political party aside, Republican, Democrat, and say these prices we're being charged are outrageous and just quit supporting this bullshit, then we're just all idiots. We're just all idiots.
What happened to Walmart? Walmart used to be cheap. What the?
It's all
Dave, what are you? I could not agree with you more. I told my wife that the other day. I was like, Walmart, what is up with Walmart? I need to go somewhere else. They're too expensive.
Yeah, except for electronics. You can go buy a
I did get a laptop from there, Kyle.
Yeah, I'm talking about but the grocery side?
Groceries anywhere. There's no such even Aldi.
I agree,
Dave. And here's another thing that my mother, who is the best shopper on the planet, because she knows like prices and she's a professional shopper. Like 2 or 3 years ago, she made a great point. She said, she's 5'4" on a good day, and she was trying to get cat litter, and the cheap cat litter was at the top, very tippity top there, and the most expensive was at eye level or more, where she could grab it So it's like the $7 or $8 cat litter was up top, and the eye level was like $12, like the name brand. And so that kind of stuff, I know that's not they're not the first ones to do that. That's the oldest trick. And the other thing they've done too is they've moved everything around where you can't find anything. So that makes you like maybe impulse buy.
Yeah, not me. And another thing that pisses me off is fast food restaurant. I'm going to tell you what. I used to think Highway 55 was overpriced. Well, Highway 55 has not increased their prices as much as everybody else. So you can go right now and get the John Boy and Billy double cheeseburger with bacon and barbecue sauce, and order fries and a drink for $11 at Highway 55. I'd rather spend $11 for that at Highway 55 than $9 or $10 for a Big Mac combo any day.
Yeah, I went to a Burger King a few days ago because I had.
If you do the 2 for $6 or something like that, it's fine. But if you just order like a Whopper combo, it's $12, $13.
I got 2 bacon double cheeseburgers that were the size of biscuits. They were the size of biscuits.
How much was it?
And I got a 4-piece jalapeno, whatever it was, which is $1.89, and a strawberry lemonade, $16 and some.
Yeah, you're better off going to Highway 55.
I got a combo the other day.
Highway 55 is now our official sponsor. Go to Highway 55.
Yeah, I went to the Burger King near the airport in Greenville a few months ago, and she said, "Would you?" She said, "Would you like anything else?" And I said, "No." I said, "Y'all are too high." She said, "You're keeping it real." I said, "Yes, I am." So
yeah, no, I'm
$14 for a combo.
Cookout, still reasonably priced. I think Highway 55 for what it is, they haven't increased their prices as much as everybody else. They're good priced. Chili's is another place you can go, and if you can get good deals.
I hate their food though.
The Chili's in Goldsboro's not bad. But places like McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, they can all kiss my ass. I'll go to Wendy's every once in a while and get a large chili, but I'm not. First of all, I'm eating healthier now anyway. But second, it's quit supporting these places that do not offer good prices. These huge franchises. There are some. I think the pizza places have done a good job keeping the prices down. Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Domino's, Papa John's, they all have good deals. Go to their website.
What has happened to Hardee's, Kyle? It seems like they're disappearing.
You know what? I poor marketing. I think Hardee's food is pretty good. Their prices are horrible too.
I like their food. But,
Hardee's
Justin said Pizza Inn. You know what? Pizza Inn in Goldsboro. Chili's. He said the Chili's in Goldsboro is horrible. I think it's
Thank you, Justin.
Well, you know what? Opinions vary. The
Western Sizzling
Pizza Inn in Goldsboro is good, and it's a well-ran Pizza Inn. And Justin makes a good point with Western Sizzling. Western Sizzling is incredibly reasonably priced, and their food is good. There's one in Goldsboro, Dave. You've been there. There's one in Rocky Mount. I don't know about that one. But the one in Goldsboro, you can go. I'll get the It's a combo. You get a 6-ounce sirloin, a 5-ounce grilled chicken breast, and a side, and it's like $13.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah, look at Golden Corral. I mean, an adult buffet now is $22, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the food bar is at Western Sizzling. They have a small buffet. I never get it. I think it's like $10.
Yeah,
the thing about Western Sizzling,
I eat like a plate and a half. Usually.
How does Logan's compare to those two? Because I guess we just had a major fire.
Logan's prices are better than Texas Roadhouse or Longhorn, but their prices are not as cheap as Western Sizzling.
No, they're definitely not. But like that grilled chicken breast they have at Logan's is I noticed that if you get like that, like the grilled chicken breast, like plates are reasonable, and because beef prices are so high.
They have at Logan's. They have a I don't remember what it's called. The Roadhouse chicken sandwich, maybe. It's a grilled chicken sandwich with bacon, barbecue sauce, and sautéed grilled onions, and that is the best grilled chicken sandwich out there.
And by the way, I would say for my hometown of Williamston, North Carolina, if somebody would open up something like a Western Sizzling, or back in the day, remember Western Steer? They would make a fortune. I just don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't know how to run a restaurant, and I don't want the hours, the headache, the overhead, the blah, blah, blah.
You don't see very many Western Sizzlings around anymore. The ones, like I say, the one in Goldsboro, the one in Rocky Mount do really well. and their prices are still reasonable. And Justin mentioned them. And Justin, comment on this here. We're gonna get out of here, but I would argue that Western Sizzlin maybe has the best burger in Goldsboro.
The ones I've had are very good there.
Their burgers are phenomenal. They use ground sirloin, and their burgers are great.
Hey, Kyle.
They have a mascot in the old cow is still my favorite. The old skin.
They are. What was your question?
I was gonna say, Awen is a good supporter of the show, and he's excited. They're going to be getting a cookout in Clearwater.
Oh, really? Okay, they got good prices, dude. It's not going to. I mean, I'm sure you've had it. You've been to North Carolina. I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know, but I think their prices are good. Their food is good for fast food. Some people rave about it. I think you're out of your mind if you rave about Cookout, but I do think their food's good for their price.
I like their onion rings. I'll tell you what.
What were you going to say about it, JR?
No, I was just going to ask you to tell Awen what he could expect when they open it up.
You can do the combos, the trays is what they're called. I figure Awen's being a pirate is familiar with it, but you get you get your trays. So you like a big double tray as a double cheeseburger. You choose how you want it topped, and you choose two sides. And that's what's fun about Cookout is you get two sides of those trays, and they're reasonably priced. And your sides you get to choose from are fries, Cajun fries, onion rings, a corn dog, chicken nuggets, chicken quesadilla, walking taco. Last night we went to Cookout in Dunn. I got a grilled chicken sandwich and 2 grilled chicken quesadillas as my sides.
And what's the sauce they give you? The dipping sauce.
There's a Cookout sauce.
Yeah,
that's probably what you're talking about.
Polynesian sauce.
Polynesian sauce. You're at Chick-fil-A.
What is the name of the sauce? Is like the Polynesian?
I didn't know they had one that was like a Polynesian there.
Like it's got a little kick to it.
Their Cookout sauce is what I think you're talking about.
Kick, yeah. But I can't think of the name. I'll have to.
And about 40 flavors of milkshakes, Awen.
I have I love a chocolate chip milkshake, but you have to do it with a spoon because you can't suck it through a straw.
Yeah, I'm a dip ice cream shake guy. So if I want a chocolate shake, I want it made with chocolate dip ice cream. I'm not a big soft serve, add syrupy in. So if I'm going to go to Cookout and get a shake, it is probably going to be a coffee shake, add Oreo. So a coffee shake with Oreo. And then they have seasonal shakes. The watermelon shake is loved there, and that'll be available in July and August.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a huge fan. I know we talked about this of Smithville's Chicken and Barbecue, and being that a chain. Speaking of a chain, being that's a chain, I love their what is this? The snack pack, and you get like a few of the. It's like a really big chicken tender. And they
Where
have
you at?
Smithville's Chicken and Barbecue.
Oh, their chicken tenders are the size of your friggin' head.
Yeah, I love them.
They have huge chicken tenders. Yeah, you can get 3 chicken tenders and an order of fries. They're little chickens in that, and you hear 3 chicken tenders, and you're like, eh. But 3 chicken tenders and an order of fries. Is it 3 or 2 that's in that snack pack, Dave?
3.
Yeah, it's plenty. It's plenty.
Speaking of chicken, I had some of the best fried chicken ever I'd never had. A friend of mine just celebrated his birthday. We had Carly C's.
From Chakawinity or Gramsland.
Oh my gosh, that was.
Wait a minute, Carly C's is a grocery store.
Yeah,
but they have. You go in there, you smell that chicken right off the bat.
They have it. Yeah,
that's a chain. That's not just one location. There's Carly C's all over North Carolina.
That was in Chakawinity. I think it's part of the IGA over there. I believe
that's correct.
It is absolutely.
They're IGAs that are owned by.
But I think the closest one is Gramsland, right?
I had no idea there was one in Gramsland. There's one in Goldsboro. There's one in Dunn. They're typically in that little area from Goldsboro, Dunn, Smithville. They're in that little. I didn't know there was one out in Gramsland.
Yeah, the one in Chakawinity. We got for about 15 people, and it was outstanding. Outstanding.
I know.
Justin, how's the chicken at the one in Goldsboro? I've never thought about going to Carly C's for fried chicken.
Yeah. Chicken.
That's a good call, Alan.
Curly. We got a box, and it was literally a great big box of chicken of the variety. I think now we spent $89 on chicken, but there was
okay, all right. Now I'm gonna go try this damn chicken at Carly C's that Justin says is amazing, and Alan Vick says is amazing. Yeah. And if it's not amazing, I'm whipping both your asses.
Okay. It's an upgrade from Boston Market.
Are you a leg man, Kyle? Are you a drumstick guy?
I am a
I love
chicken
it.
wing and breast guy. I love wings and
We,
breast. I
we
mean,
know that.
I eat a drumstick. I'll eat any damn part of the
We
chicken,
already knew
including the
that,
liver,
Josh.
including the liver. But in fact, liver may be my favorite part. But
Oh God, can't do that.
I love it.
Can't do that. But the chicken leg, the drumstick, and because the crust is so good.
Yeah, the fried. I've had it like twice. It's been a
Check
minute.
out Early C's. You'll be glad you did.
All right, I'll do it.
And
Kyle, do you remember growing up?
you don't like it.
Yeah, we're going to a Warbirds game, and Kyle's going to get to go to what is that? Gizzards and
Yeah, the livers and gizzard store. I'm
We
looking
have,
forward to that.
by the way, guys, we have a big the Alumni Association for ECU. We've got a big event. I think it's the Friday night, the 19th. I'll double check on that. June the 19th, I believe it is. But
If anybody wants, I'm on the Zep bound now, so I probably can't do it right now. But once I lose the weight, whenever I get off the Zep bound, I got to keep eating healthier. The weight will come back once I lose it. But I will challenge anyone to a fried chicken liver eating contest.
Oh man,
you'll win.
I love it. No,
depends on whoever's going to accept that challenge. Loves fried chicken livers like I do.
I'll take you on, Kyle. You know that I love.
Dave, are you a big fried chicken liver fan?
Yes, sir.
Oh, really?
Back in the day, KFC.
That surprises me, actually.
Yeah, remember KFC? It used to have.
Yeah,
them.
they used to have them. Yeah,
that's where I used to eat them the most.
Yeah, my mom used to make
Parker's.
them.
Doesn't Parker's have chicken liver?
They do. I
need it's been a long time since I've had them.
You can get them in Williamson. I know they're closing, but as far as I know, they're still open. Shit, help me out. They're on the corner there of 17. Shamrock,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, they I know they're closing, but they're still
I
open.
didn't know that.
I heard they were selling.
They're selling it, but it's not because of. To let y'all know, yes, normally that would be closing, but the problem, what it is a matter of they have a really good business, but the problem is they don't want to be in business like running a restaurant. But if you're looking to buy a restaurant that does very well, and for many times, I'm not a broker. I don't get paid one. I was getting ready to say penny, but I don't. They don't make pennies anymore. One nickel.
Yeah, they do well.
Yeah, Johnny Bryant and I ate a lot of Shamrock over the years.
But they do have chicken livers, and
I forgot about it.
They're pretty solid.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of chicken livers, so I'll take you on, Kyle.
Do you eat them? Do you eat them plain? Do you eat them with Texas Pete? Do you eat them with ketchup? How do you eat them?
I eat them. I can eat them plain, definitely, but I could definitely put on ketchup, or I love Texas Pete.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'll eat them plain or with Texas Pete or
we
ketchup.
need to fill Kyle up on chicken livers during our 90s country challenge.
Oh, Jesus.
There you go. That's got to happen, by the way.
Sometimes they run through me.
There you go.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
that's how Alan Vicks could have win. He's like,
hey, again, I'm on the Zep bound, so my quota of chicken livers would probably be like 4 or 5, and I'd be done.
I was wondering why Alan said that, but that's because he's going to tap out and he's going to give up, and you're going to win.
That's
Come
right.
on, man. You
Johnny's going to play a tune, and all you'll hear is on the other end.
Oh my God! I want to, guys. I got to retire, like tennis.
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle, somebody's texting me. They want to know why Sonic is not mentioned when you're talking about milkshakes and hamburgers and stuff. How do they compare? How does Sonic compare to Cookout?
I think if we lived in a strong Sonic territory like Oklahoma, or just I don't think the Sonic and Goldsboro's ran very well, and I don't never eaten the one in Greenville.
What happened in Williamston? They were packed, but they had bad management twice.
The milkshakes, Sonic milkshakes, I would say are on par with Cookout's milkshakes. Not as big a variety. I don't think their burgers are as good. And I used to love Sonic's onion rings with barbecue sauce. But I would I don't know. I would say Sonic's a notch below these days of Cookout. But I used to love Sonic. In the 90s and early 2000s, Sonic was great. I used to.
Yeah, that's more of a kid's sort of. I mean, not.
I just don't think their food's as good anymore.
The cherry limeade is very good. Like those drinks like that are very good. I have to say all the ice cream is very good, and the milkshake.
So the best thing to me Sonic used to have in terms of ice cream was called what was it called? Hold on.
Is it Sonic Blast?
No, the Mocha Java Chiller, and they don't have it anymore, and it pisses me off because they still have coffee and they still have vanilla ice cream and they still have chocolate syrup.
But they, all right.
So why take something off the menu that you still have all the ingredients to? It literally makes no sense. But
their cheeseburgers are decent, and the coney dog. I love those.
as far as who has the best fast food, I mean, Dairy Queen technically has some of their locations have a full menu, like the one in Williamson. Some just serve chicken tenders and hot dogs. So if you want to count them, obviously Dairy Queen would have the best ice cream and milkshakes in terms of fast food restaurants. But if you're not going to count them, I don't know who has the best fast food milkshake.
How about they don't do food, but I love Cold Stone.
Yeah, no. I'm talking fast food. I'm talking fast food. Now, if we're going to get into ice cream places, it's a completely different story.
Here's something funny that Sonic, the only Sonic that I knew of was on 158 right after you go through Chesapeake, Virginia, and cross over into North Carolina. And every time we'd go to the Outer Banks, it was like a treat to go to Sonic. And now,
back then, they were good.
Yeah, and now there's two of them in Manassas, and we never go there.
They're not that good anymore.
Yeah, we just never go there.
Now, Alan, if you're going to get into like chain ice cream places, Cold Stone's good. Baskin Robbins is good.
Oh yeah.
Highway 55, yeah. If you're going to go back to the burger place that has good shakes, I would probably say my favorite fast food.
Frozen custard?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get into the frozen custard line with Rita's Italian Ice and frozen custard. It's another chain that's got really good shakes and stuff with their frozen custard. But if you're talking burger places and chicken places, I'm gonna probably say my favorite fast food milkshake is probably either Zaxby's or Chick-fil-A.
That is true. Yeah, Zaxby's is, but
the Zaxby's cookie butter milkshake that they released this past Christmas. I was losing weight. I won't even own that about. I think that shake single-handedly started. I would drink. Then some bitches had like 800 calories, and I drank like 5 of them during the Christmas season. And I mean, they were. I mean, if you like cookie butter or Biscoff cookies, I mean, it was freaking unreal.
It sucks. The Zaxby's in Greenville by the hospital has been closed for renovation now for about almost 3 months.
And Zaxby's is another place that's very overpriced, but it is good. It is good.
Oh my God, yes, wings and things.
They have good salads.
Yeah, they got good chicken tenders. They got good. I like their fries. They got really good fries.
Yeah. Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, the peppermint shake at Chick-fil-A is good. So, and I'll tell you, here's a fat boy secret. At Cookies and Cream, at Chick-fil-A, if you order the cookies and cream shake, you can tell them to put extra cookie in it, and they'll do it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys, we're at about 2 hours and 22 minutes. We're
okay. So what do you want to talk about for the next hour and a half?
Yeah, well, we're supposed to do an hour. Somebody said we were supposed to have an hour show.
Well, you know what? Hey, the conversation flowed. We talked about it.
I've had it. By the way, I was going to tell you guys, thank you very much for all your support behind the scenes. And I have been ready to do this show all day long. It felt like I was telling my parents came to visit me today, and they were upset too because we were talking about a great way to end the show. We were talking about how it's kind of depressing because we wanted to have, Pirate baseball, and they're big fans. And so when we were talking about it, it feels weird to be not watching a game, today. And the great news is football is around the corner, but it's still 90, how many days, guys? 90?
Yeah, 90 days. Yeah. As I posted on our social media with highlights of the Military Bowl, it's 90 days till kickoff as of today.
I guessed it right.
And I am not going to do a daily countdown. I'm just going to do it sporadically, showing different Pirate game highlights with the countdown. So do not be looking for that daily on our social media.
Yeah, the first couple of weeks after baseball is always kind of a bummer. Yeah, it just is. It's kind of a downer.
Yeah, but we've got a great football team and great football coming ahead. So we'll if you guys have any ideas for guests. Alan Vick has got a lot of you've got a huge Rolodex, I know, with wrestling star. I thought about some wrestling people we need to get on. We'll talk about that off the air. And I've got a baseball guy that I reached out during the show that
There was a quickly, and then I'm going to be done with my portion of the show.
yeah, I'm done.
So we like I said, we went to Burton to see Matt Mason last night. And I look on the window, the building beside it, and there's a wrestling show being promoted. The Ivan Koloff Memorial Tag Team Tournament in Benson was last night.
Oh
and
man,
and the lineup they had, I would have totally probably went to that instead of the show, even though I enjoyed the show. But Jerry the King Lawler was there as a special guest signing autographs.
yeah.
Nikita Koloff was there as a special guest signing autograph. CW and Brock Anderson were in the tournament. Matt Riddle was in the tournament. There was a ton of big names there.
Yeah.
Would have been a great indie show to go to.
Yeah, Baby Doll. Nicola Roberts was there.
Yeah, there you go. So I didn't know anything about it until last night, or I may would have made the effort to go to that instead. Would have loved to have met Lawler.
It's right here on my Facebook.
And Lawler literally was just down the road from Wildfire there, and didn't come kick his ass, so he's lucky.
Oh man,
Eric Calhoun could have refereed.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Do you have anything else before we get out of here?
Nope, I enjoyed it. Always fun.
You guys are the best.
I would just say that we will have extra. I mean, we're going to have more baseball coverage, in the next few weeks, just as the portal.
Yeah, on Sunday night, we'll have full portal updates. We'll get down to talking football more. We'll have some guests. Stevie will obviously be here on more Sunday nights. Matt will get back involved come August. So the return of Semenza is imminent.
He's been holding. What I heard is he's been holding out for more money, and that
I'm gonna give him $1.
Okay, the regular season starts back our regular season starts back in August, so maybe we can. Maybe he won't be holding out much longer.
Yeah. So we'll be breaking down position groups, conferences, all that kind of stuff as we get closer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Matt returning for sure.
Yeah.
Here we are, June 7th. Won't be long. Preseason NFL's coming back. America's 250th birthday is now less than a month away. So, by the way, happy birthday, Bubba Rosenbaum.
Yes, alum of our show.
Thank you,
Happy birthday, Bubba.
Happy birthday, Bubba Rosenbaum.
Last week was National Bubba Day. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I put that out there.
Yeah.
Today was Bubba's birthday. How about that?
It was, and I wished him a happy birthday.
Yeah,
So.
Bubba and the Bubettes spent the day together.
All right, there you go. All right, guys, we'll be back next Sunday night. Again, if you have an idea for guests or you want to be on the show, it's thesportsobj@gmail.com. You can email us. We're on all the socials. Check this out. Spread the word. Spread the love. Like our show. Subscribe on, obviously, YouTube. You can like our Facebook and much more. And so you can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We're everywhere. So find us and we're on every podcast platform available. Until next time, you've been watching and listening to TSO Sunday Night. Good night, everybody. Go Pirates.
You're watching The Sports Objective, the podcast for Pirates.